Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Championship for 2023. We're on stage 5, actually day 6, because yesterday our riders had a day off from racing. I'm not going to call it a rest day because our riders, although they have been doing a little bit less, probably have all been out and spun their legs out one way or another. And even I managed to get out on the bike and get a few kilometres in. Don't forget, you can follow me at Matt Fix a Paint on Strava as well as on social media. Don't expect performances like our riders. For that, you will need to follow Emma. That's Emma Martin at Biking Emma. And Emma is here in the studio with me and will be taking us all the way through the action. Emma, a great day yesterday from a rider's point of view if you wanted a bit of a break. For some, that's not going to have been necessarily what they were looking for. They may have just been coming into form.
Well, that's it indeed. And some of our women's competitions, Matt, on the MyWhoosh Championships is exceptionally close in some of our categories. And I'm so looking forward to seeing what happens over the next few days as we roll into the final 3 stages.
Yep, 3 stages today. The first of those 3, and it is going to be epic.
It is indeed. We are heading to Arabia. Today, the women have got 50 kilometres in distance and 1,100 metres of climbing. And most of that comes in the final climb of the day. We have one category 4 climb early on in today's stage, and then the hot category Habil Hafit to finish off.
And the first climb is a really interesting one, isn't it? Because the first of the climbs is the 3 hills that make up the Talmarib climb. Now, this is not just one standard climb, is it? It's 3 peaks with a descent in between 1 and 2, and in fact, a long stretch across the lake in between hills 2 and 3. So a little bit unusual in that it's a climbing segment with descents in, but it really has been instrumental in breaking the racing up in not just women's but also in the men's stage.
Yeah, absolutely. In that final climb coming at stage 5, the Hebel Hafit was the climb they did at the end of stage 4. The Hebel Hace is the climb today, and it is going to be 11.7 kilometres. So it is a really long climb. And let's not forget, Matt, we still have the 5 sprints along the way.
We do indeed, and lots of competition in those categories in category 4, 3, 2, and 1, which you can see on your screen, and across all of our classifications. So the general classification, the mountains, the sprints, the under 23, the senior competition. Now, Team Pans have been riding very strongly. You could say it's almost the Ella Vink show.
Well, not quite, because Amy Loxley, her teammate, is absolutely bringing it as well. So currently Loxley and Vink really, really fighting it out for the overall, I think, at the moment in category 4.
And the Psychoholic team, the Psychoholics, some good riding, and Isabel Giraldo looking good, but they're and is their leading rider overall.
Yeah, good in the sprints, good on the overall standings, and riding really strongly.
So great to see the teams that are riding so well. And in terms of the team standings, Team Pans have the higher standings with a rise there. Loxley, Smith, and Vink, Poulton, and Madeira really have been putting it in phenomenal performances and taking what is 5 out of the top 6 positions.
I know, it's amazing. Team Pans has been absolutely right up at the front and regularly in the breakaway.
Indeed, and you can see that in the sprints it is Team Pan's rider Ella Vink who is leading out at the moment, and that means that she is secure by my maths. Could you confirm that for me? I think it's 50 points that are left now in the sprint standing, so that should mean that she can't be touched.
Yeah, absolutely. If someone clean swept the sprints from now on to the finish, they would not be able to amass the same amount of points as Ella Vink. So that green jersey is going to stay firmly on her shoulders.
Which means she could switch her attentions across if she wanted to challenge and take on her teammate Amy Loxley in the Queen of the Mountain standings. And this is by no means wrapped up in any way, shape, or form, is it? Because we still have plenty of points available.
Yeah, still 30 points over the next few stages available in that mountains competition. 20 of those available today.
and of course none during our time trial stage, which comes tomorrow. So away we go. The riders are off in category 4, heading out on to the start of part 2. Stage number 5. It is the MyWhoosh Championships for 2023, and category 4 coming out as one very smooth bunch there, Emma.
Absolutely. These riders now have got this dialed. They are very comfortable in each other's company. They have been thinking about their tactics, I imagine, yesterday and planning what they're going to do. Now, today's course, Matt, is really interesting because they come out on a flat start. Now, 1.8 kilometres into that start is today's first sprint, and that comes before the first short steep climb on this course. So the Tel Marib Lake Sprint at 1.8k. So this start out of the pen will take them straight into that sprint, and it's a very steady start. They are very well packed together, and you can already see that green jersey just watching the back of that race field.
Well, and that is no surprise, is it? We've seen everybody has finessed their technique in the sprints, I think. I don't think there's a rider out there now who doesn't know exactly what they want to do and how they want to do it in terms of delivering when they choose to go for those sprints. And now really it is a battle, isn't it, in the second, third, fourth, fifth positions because of that big lead by Elevink. So we've now got Madeira sitting in second place, Smithson in third. They're separated at the moment by 12 points, but third to fourth, 2 point separation, and fourth to fifth is 1 point. And remember, for the sprints, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points for first, second, third, fourth, and fifth places.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting to see the domination of Vink in those sprints during those early stages really paying off to have it wrapped up by the end of stage 4 with 2 stages with sprints still to go. So 10 more sprints still to go at the moment, and Vink already has that wrapped up.
And of course, the riders behind need to battle for that because they could take the sprint win. There is a sprint win prize each day.
There is indeed.
As well as the overall. So there is still a reason to go for that for Vink in terms of prize money, even if she knows that she's already got the overall sealed.
And also for the other competitors in this race field, Matt, there's a reason for them to go for the sprints today and in our final stage, because if Vink decides to switch her attentions perhaps to the Queen of the Mountains or to the overall, she may not compete in the sprints today.
Indeed, and that might give a chance to somebody else to continue onwards. You can see in our yellow jersey we have tucked in nicely in there, but this green jersey at the moment that we're keeping our eyes on to see whether she's going to go for this. We're now coming to 1.4k. Remember, it's 1.8 kilometers. Now, is Finn going to go do a masterclass lead out for her teammates sitting in second place? They have got the 1, 2, 3 in here. And really, the rider for me who should be really going for this is Musa Al Mansouri, because Al Mansouri is the only rider in terms of sprints to really break into the dominance. She's in 4th place, potentially Gerardo in 5th place, but the top 3 places with the team pans for the sprint. So really interesting. Here we go. Let's see who's going to go for it. Well, Musa Al Mansouri has gone from the front here. Emma, take us through the sprint.
Yeah, so Al Mansouri pushes on at the front. She's kicked at 6.8 watts per kilo. There is no response at all coming from behind at the moment, Matt, though we do have one rider off the back of the group who is now working their way through. In fact, it's Madeira. Madeira's kicking at 6.5 watts per kilo now as she works her way through the group, and Vink is coming late to the party as well. So Vink is indeed leading out Madeira at the moment as Madeira comes past, but Vink kicks again. So it is only these 3 riders who are attempting to contend this sprint today.
And really interesting tactics. Al Mansouri went for it from the front, got swept away, and we've seen that happen time and time again. And in terms of team pans, that is a fantastic result because you've got the rider in second place, Madeira, taking maximum points in theory from our view, but look at the result there. She's going to get 4 points and Vink is taking 5. So nobody's actually gained on Madeira other than Vink, who's already clear in the front. So really interesting tactics there. Al Mansouri rewarded with a 3rd place and Loxley with a 4th, I think. Let's have a look at those full results confirmed up on our screens. Remember, these are live results as we go through. So in theory, they could change.
Yeah, so Ella Vink coming through for the 5 points with Madeira. Her teammate in second picking up 4. Al Mansouri picking picking up 3, Loxley picking up 2, and Smithson picking up 1. But take a look from Loxley down, Matt. They did not alter their pace. So this is going to be interesting because by going for those sprints, is Ella Vink going to lose her chances in the Queen of the Mountains competition and potentially overall against her teammate Loxley, because her legs won't be as fresh as the other riders when they hit that Hawk category climb at the end of today's stage?
Well, it is a long way away, isn't it?
It is.
And we have between these about just under 5 kilometres between here and the start of the Talmarib climbing segment, which is the 3 hills that they climb as part of the Talmarib climb segment. Now, that is a little way away. I think this should give us a little bit of time as this group comes all back together again to take a look. We've talked about taking and sealing the win in the competition. Let's look at the prizes and let's see what she sealed up as winning that sprints competition. We can see here in category 4 the overall sprint winner, so long as she obviously stays in the race to the end, $1,250 in the bank for Ella Vink.
Yeah, absolutely. But she has to finish all of the stages, Matt. So all 7 stages she does need to finish to take the prize away. Now, the individual classification first prize $2,500 there. Prize is going down to 10th place in the individual classification. The team's competition prize is to 5th, with the first prize being $10,500 in category 4. Now, those prizes are the same. They are identical in the men's and the women's race for category 4. And you can see the youth, the Queen of the Mountains, and the Masters overall as well. Alongside that, as you mentioned, Matt, we also have that daily prize money. So the stage winner today taking away $250, and the sprint and the Queen of the Mountains winner $150.
So $150 up for grabs potentially if you take away the most sprint points on the way through. And that does mean you might have to contest it to the end. But in a team, and it's going to be really interesting, I'd really love to know whether the teams are going to be sharing that out. So the traditional cycling team philosophy within cycle sport as a whole has been that when you race as a team, all the prize funds for everything gets put into one pot and split up in amongst the teams, and the big stars make their money on appearance fees and on endorsements. Now, not sure that's going to happen here, and I do hope the teams had an agreement in place before they started rather than they realised just how much they've won.
Well, it's going to be interesting, and it may well be different, but at the moment it's Al Mansouri, our individual rider, pushing on at the front here, and she's clear of the group by around 6 seconds at the moment. So Loxley, Madeira, Smithson and Vink from Team Pans not doing anything about this.
And Al Mansouri doesn't have that issue, does she? Of course, because she's an individual rider. So she's free, not just to worry about where the prize money is going to go, but also in terms of looking after other riders. Because in a team, there's a lot of leading each other out, lots of looking after each other, pacing people back. Maybe you have to sacrifice your chances for your team leader. And none of that is going to play. She can just focus on the job in hand, and that is to do the best for herself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it is at all, because I think sometimes it does give you the freedom to ride as you want. And I think if I was Al Mansouri, I think I'd be surfing as many wheels as possible, as much as possible, and picking up as much prize money as possible. Maybe I'm just avaricious.
Well, also, you know, she's not part and parcel of that team competition, and we know that team competition really plays into the tactics on the MyWhoosh Championships. We've seen it time and time again, where teams are riding for each other, and they've got very clear plans in terms of that team overall competition. Now, Al Mansouri isn't part of that, you are right, but because she isn't part of that, the other riders may well leave her alone if she goes down the road.
Well, that's a possibility, but they won't want her getting too much time on the overall classification. She's currently sitting, though, some 28 minutes down, and that means you could let her go 15 minutes up the road. She's not going to challenge Ella Vink at the Amy Loxley at the top of the standings. Loxley's time 7 hours and 21 minutes of racing so far, Emma. And that's a substantial amount of race time under your legs. Yes, lots of us will ride that kind of distance comfortably within a few days, you know, that the riders have covered, but we won't be doing it at race pace or that amount of time and not do it at race pace over the last few days. And that has got to have taken its toll. And this recovery is going to have been key, hasn't it, over the last day? But then tomorrow we have a time trial as well. And that time trial, potentially, if you're not worried about the GC, there's no sprint points, there's no mountain points. It has the potential for the riders not contending GC to be a rest day because they can literally just ride through that. And I'll be brutally honest, I wouldn't be contesting the GC. I don't want to do that. I just poodle my way through. Look at the scenery. Well, there's
Well,
no time cut off.
that's it indeed. But whilst our Category 4 riders are out on the course already, they've got the first sprint under their belt and they are heading towards the first Category 4 climb on this course today. You can see our Category 3 riders in the start pen.
And we have our Mr. Worldwide team, the first of our teams in here. This contains our yellow jersey holder in here in terms of Maria Kimona. She's also leading the Youth and Mountains competition. She is absolutely proving to be a star.
Absolutely, definitely the star of this Category 3 squad at the moment.
And then it's the Maniacs team.
Yeah, and what can we say? You know, they've got some really strong riders at the moment. Walkenhurst is leading the mountain competition. Barragan is leading the Masters.
Yeah, it's actually tied, isn't it, between Walkenhurst and Kimona. They're both on 24 points in the mountains. The Feisty Cats, well, they have our sprint leader at the moment with 57 points, but she's not totally clear in that, and that is Jenny Tan.
Yeah, and she's not clear because of the ICW squad's rider Agudelo, who is really close behind.
Yep, 49 points. So let's have a little look at the overall standings. You've got these are the teams that are eligible now for the team competition. It is Mr. Worldwide in top spot with Maniacs in second and Feisty Cats in third place at the minute. And a lot of that is to do with the quality of the general classification riding of three riders, really, isn't it? Kimona, Cabanatan and Tandigan, if I remember correctly, Emma, because I think they're all in the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is very close, you know, Matt, because Walkenhurst, Barragan, and Botero are second, sixth, and eighth overall. So really anything could happen.
And our sprint standing, well, we said that Jenny Tan was clear of Agudelo, and that is not by all that much. Then you've got Carolus, but realistically, with the volume of point standings, the points that are available that are left, in theory, that could very easily change. But what we've got to remember, of course, is that the gaps are not huge, are they? If you won every sprint and somebody else won every second place, I think that would only give you a 5 points advantage over the whoever got second place.
Yeah, but it is still all to play for in this Category 3 sprint competition.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Now, the Queen of the Mountains is even tighter still. How many points have we still got available, Emma?
So in the mountains competition, overall 30 points are still available, 20 of which are available today.
And with two leaders tied, Kimona and Walkenhurst. And for me, this is really going to affect the tactics of the teams because this is so close. Literally every point counts. And I think this is going to make this day even harder for them because we have 5 points available on that first climbing section of the Tarmarie with the 3 hills. Then we have the big mountain, and that is worth many, many more points, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That Hawk category climb is worth 15 points for the winner today. 12 for second, 10 for third, 8 for fourth, and 6th for 5th place.
So even if you get 5th place on the final climb, you're going to get more points than you're going to get on the first climb section. Really interesting how this is going to unfold on the way through to that finish line. And a quick reminder for everybody, as we always have on the climbs coming into the finish, when the riders come in to that final climb, that segment, the climb segment will finish before the finish line today, 700 meters, 500 meters before the finish line. When we go across that, the riders in category 4 already on the way in to the first of our climbing segments. Now, these are the riders who took the points and the prizes for yesterday, aren't they? We should make that clear for everybody. This is not the overall. This is for stage 4, not yesterday.
It wasn't yesterday.
Yesterday
was
a rest day. That's gone by in a blink, hasn't it? The day before for stage 4.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is stage 4's category 3, and Julia Walkenhurst was the rider who took the win. And let's not forget that was a mountain stage finish. And I think today it is really going to be a battle between Carmona and Walkenhurst, A for the stage win, but B for the climb competition. So, with the seconds ticking down now, our category 3 riders are in the start pen. They are in the start pen for stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships with 50 kilometers today and 1100 meters of climbing. One category 4 climb, one Hawk category climb, and that checkered flag is going to be at the top. So away our category 3 riders go. They are cleanly out of the start pen and all together in a nice tight bunch as they roll out from the start gate and onto the course. Now, this is a flat start and they are quickly up to speed, just shy of 40 kilometers per hour at the moment. And very, very shortly, to head into that first sprint, the Telmarie Lake sprint, at 1.8 kilometers into the course today.
Well, let's see who is going to quickly pick up the pace. Is anybody going to maybe try and take the sting out of the sprinters coming in and through? So a reminder in terms of the sprint competition is the first segment that we've got coming up. It's Jenny Tan who is leading. Tan who is in the green jersey. You can see that Barragan at the moment is holding on to the Masters jersey there, but we're in with Tan. This is the green jersey with the green shorts, and that's the easy way to tell. It's a full skin suit in that colour of the category winner. Jenny Tan in that dark green is going to be wanting to continue to push on with the points. Second place is Agudelo of the ICW squad, one of our younger riders, Annalie Agudelo, and going to see if she can take this on. She's 7th in the overall as well, Emma, so she's got to be a little careful not to expend too much energy, but I think in terms of the sprints, second in the sprints is an early sprint. This is surely one she's going to go for.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. You know, she is second in that sprint competition. She was second overall in stage 1, which was indeed a flat stage with 5 sprints. So I think she's got a good finish on her when it comes down to a sprint, and she's got a good sprint technique, which is lining her up possibly for a serious competition in that category.
Well, let's see what's going to happen. Agudelo is definitely doing the right thing here. You can see Annalie just
look at these riders
at the back of this group, and she doesn't want to get timing wrong. She needs to sit at the back. She'll want to roll in, and if you've watched the velodrome, then it's very, very obvious the technique and the tactic that you need to use is essentially to lay off the group, to come into the group, and when that group is moving at some speed, go through that group.
Yeah, and take a look at this. There is a game of cat and mouse as to who can get to the back of the group without the group slowing off enough for them to snowball through at the moment. So we've got a number of riders trying their desperate hard at the moment to get onto the back of this group, and it is causing this group to go very, very slow through this section here at the moment because they are all lining up for this first sprint.
And different riders like sprints at different speeds as well, don't they? So if you roll in at what is, let's say it's 5 kilometers an hour, which is not what they're going to do, but 5 kilometers an hour, and then you have to kick to maximum speed, that's a massively strong effort. You've got to have a lot of instant power very quickly. If you're coming in at 40 kph and you're maybe going to go to 50 kph, that's not much more of an increase. It's a very different effort, and it's much more about being supple as much as it is about that kick. So here we go. Look at this. Tan is at the back here. You can just see winding it up now. She's taking the draft. She's got Carolus in front in the polka dot jersey. Tan in the green, pushing on here. You can see now going over the top of that polka dot jersey. She's absolutely rocketing through here. This could well be the fastest time. She's starting to make ground. Great ride by Barragan, who went from the front, but look at the speed of Tan there. Surely that's the fastest time, and I think Carolus will have a pretty good time too, because she followed Tan through there, and that is often a great way to ride a sprint, isn't it? Pick who you think is going to be the fastest, follow them, and then try and beat them on the line.
Well, in category 4, we only saw 3 women contend the sprint. We have just seen a much bigger group contend the sprint in category 3, and that's because it is a much tighter competition. So Jenny Tan from Feisty Cats taking 5 points in that sprint competition. Sarah Carolus from Maniacs taking 4. Agudelo from ICW taking 3. Lopez from ICW taking 2. And Walkenhurst from Maniacs taking 1 point.
And Walkenhurst was in 3rd position coming in here. She was clear coming into the stage of Tandigan, and could well be quite telling that of those riders who contested the sprint there, that our top two, Tan and Agudelo, were in the top three, but Tan's extended that lead because she's scored 2 more points there, and that will put her on what is 62 points, whereas it's going to be 53 points for Agudelo. So really just a good result there for Tan. Probably better than she maybe expected.
Well, yes, I would think so, because I think she probably thought that it was going to be much closer than that, but it wasn't. Carolus, Agudelo, Lopez, and Walkenhurst all coming through, though. So, it's not over by a long shot, the sprint competition in Category 3.
I think this could go all the way to the last stage, to be brutally honest, because on our last stage we have 5 sprints as well, and that means that it is going to come down to what happens, and that's a flatter stage as well. So really is going to allow the riders to really continue that battle and to fight and give the riders a chance right up to the very last sprint potentially, where it could be decided. So great to see that from our riders. Now, we've shown you the prize money for Category 4. I think we should show you the increase for our sprints, and we've just seen Jenny Tan doing that. Let's see why she's fighting quite as hard as she is, and totally understandably, how hard she's fighting when the overall sprint winner will take away $2,500. And at the moment, because it is so competitive, if she was to take away the sprints for today's stage, that's another $250 as well.
Yeah, it is. And you can see the overall prize money and the daily prize money in front of you at the moment. So Category 3 enhanced on Category 4, again, exactly matched with the men's and women's classifications. So individual first prize at Category 3, $5,000. We're going right down to $500 for 10th place. Now the team's classification, the winning team taking away $21,000. And as Matt has already indicated, the Sprint Youth Queen of the Mountains and Masters winners taking home $2,500. Now that stage winner today will take away $500, and the Sprint and the Queen of the Mountains, yep, today it is all to play for, not just the overall, because there's $250 available there as well.
And potentially, if you put in a good performance, because of the increase in points in the mountains competition, with today being such a big scoring opportunity on the horse category, it could literally be that the stage winner is the rider who takes away the mountains prize as well. So a big day for the climbers today, and that's going to be really interesting, isn't it, when we come on to that climb. But of course, we've got the Talmarie, the really tricky section before, and Sarah Carolus, who's leading the mountains competition overall, has got some serious work to do as well, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has indeed. So a continual push on there will be really needed and required in terms of leading and keeping ahead in that competition.
So let's see how these riders keep on kicking, and let's see how they go. We will see what they get up to on the way through. So let's keep our eyes on the riders. Now, our Category 4 riders are well on the way through. They're at 9.1 kilometers, and that means that we are well in and through the 3 hills. In fact, they're coming up to the summit of hill number 2 of 3 that make up the Talmarie climbing segment. So one segment, 3 separate hills, all part of that same segment. The time taken from the start of the first climb to the top of the 3rd climb, and that gives us our total time. And the riders now descending down. Now they're on the drop down to the lake, and as you can see, this mountain section has forced a split in the group, with Fink, Al-Mansouri and Loxley clear of Madeira, Smithson, Poulton and Pelagio. Madeira at 8 seconds, Smithson, Poulton, Pelagio and the rest of the riders over 30 seconds back at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. So they are indeed now forming a group. We've seen groups of we've seen over 2 stages, groups of 5 go away in this category. This is a group of 3. Now that is really interesting. So 3 riders, Vink, Loxley and Al-Mansouri. I would expect Vink and Loxley to be pushing on these climbs, and this is the battle really for first place. But Al-Mansouri has gone with them, which is fantastic to see. It's going to be interesting, Matt, I think, because once we are over the Talmarie climb, once we get to around 13 kilometres into this race. We then have a pretty flat transition with the 4 sprints before we come into the final run in to the Hawk category climb today.
Yeah, it is relatively flat, but we do have the little undulation. It gets a little bit hilly just before we go in.
Yeah, it does indeed. Well, it's looking like Myra Madeira is trying to cross over from the peloton to this breakaway group of 3 in the category 4 race. That's going to be interesting if she can make the junction. So in our category 3 race, we still have the entire pack together. They are still yet to come into the Tel Marie climb, but that will be the next section of this course that will face category 3. In the pens, we have category 2. They now have less than 5 minutes to go until their start, whilst continuing their warm-up. Category 1, just sub 20 minutes until our category 1 riders leave the start pen.
And those category 1 riders will still be joining, won't they, Emma?
Yeah, they will do indeed. At this point in time, they will indeed still be doing their warm up and joining the start pen.
So let's get across in with category 2 and let's see who we have in front. Down in those pens, we have our strong women's team here, and they're going well in terms of the overall, but a stage win for Angie Parra on stage 1. It's not quite been equalled since, has it?
No, but then bear in mind that was a sprint, Matt. You know, that was a flat stage, it was a sprint, and Power is strong there.
And she may well come into her own on the time trial, I think, because that suits her style of riding as well. That's coming up tomorrow. Blue Forest Racing Team, the team here, well, they contain Samara Shepherd, who is our rider in number 1, but also Koistinen is in there, who is in second place as well. She's currently 1 minute 56 down on Shepherd. Shepherd 6 hours 16:33.
Yeah, and Shepherd won the stage yesterday. Yesterday, look at that, we're both doing it. Shepherd won stage 4 before our rest day, proving what a strong climber she is.
So the next of our teams, the Beast Mode powered by a Rose squad. Now they have riders in 4th, 6th, and 9th position with Miller Zimmerman and Daniel, and they're riding well. And stage 4, they got 3rd place with Miller. She'll be looking to go well today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think she'll be looking for that final climb and to start making her intention on that.
Well, we will see, because big points available, as we've said. Now, our free riders squad. We've got riders in 8th and 10th, but we've also got the rider who's climbing well in the mountains. There we've got Shepherd on 19 points, but we've got Gonzalez Ruhr on 19 points, actually tied with Lopez, who's in our last team. That makes it very, very difficult, doesn't it, for the teams to focus on just one competition, because they've got riders in the overall and in the mountains.
Yeah, I think in category 2 in the women's race, there must have been some really interesting conversations yesterday about these final 3 stages, because it is so close. There's only 3 minutes separating 1st to 3rd in the general classification. They are tied on points. 3 riders tied on points in the mountains, and this is just a absolutely exciting setup for the next 3 days.
It is indeed. The Beast Mode team leading the team competition from free riders, Strong Women, Blue Forest Racing. Now, remember, of course, that these results are live, and they are, as we came to add, the 24/7 verification process that goes on with the AI, as well as all of the checking through the system and making sure that these riders are being tracked on the way through. Now, Socorro Lopez in the Cycling Stars team, in the team not featuring the team standings, but Lopez leading the sprint points competition, but again only 18 points clear of Hermansen. Then it's Engstrom, and really this has become a 3-rider sprint competition at the moment. But behind, there's still some pride, I suspect, but it's really about those 3 riders.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be interesting to see whether this competition is rounded out today or whether the final stage is also going to play a part.
In that competition, Shepherd, Lopez, and Gonzalez are clear, but you can see behind, Engstrom and Koistinen are not out of
available today in the Queen of the Mountains competition. So this could really look different tomorrow.
I'll guarantee it looks different tomorrow, because there should be some more points added to the totals. I think, Emma, yeah, your point is right. Me being facetious probably takes away slightly from the fact that, yeah, it is 100% wide open. I think this, for me, is another one where those points that are available on the very last stage in terms of the mountains. There may only be 2 Category 4 climbs on the last stage. That's stage number 7. But they're going to be critical, I suspect, in this competition. So away go our Category 2 riders. They hit the start pairs and head out onto the course. We are away on stage number 5, the day after the rest day. Who's going to have race-ready legs? Who's done the recovery? Let's find out.
So Category 2 all clear and out of the start pen comfortably. A strong pace being set already with this flat, enabling speeds to come up high, around 35 kph at the moment, and a great rolling start from this group. Now a tight pack all together on the road at the moment. Hermassen, Ruiz, Zimmerman, Shepherd, Quintero, Patricia, Power, Engstrom, all in this group. Bardeskaya is in here as well. So is Miller. Now that means all the riders close together, a tight packed group. And as we've seen with the other 2 starts, that first sprint at 1.8 kilometers really playing in and having an influence on how these riders are coming out the start pen.
Yeah, we're not seeing sort of the super aggressive, let's go like a loon moment. It's a great phrase, go like a loon. It's what I usually do when there's a coffee on the end of the line at the other end. Anyone who's listened regularly will know I am a complete and utter coffee addict. I know it's not good if you have too much. Please drink coffee responsibly. But my goodness, I think after a day where they have been doing recovery, they've got to fire themselves back up to race speed. Maybe that's the fuel of choice. But I think it has affected it. There's less kick, there's less explosion out, and it's a smarter start. And that's also going to be because we've spent a lot more time out there on the road. Now, just taking a look on our split screens, left-hand side of your screen, this is Category 2 approaching the sprint. Right-hand side, this is the summit, I suspect. Yeah, it is the summit of the Talmarie, the third of the climbs here. And Vink and Loxley have the gap, I think, on Al Mansouri, and it's going to be Vink who's going for the sprint here. So, right-hand side of your screen, this is the top of the climb. Left-hand side of your screen, this is the sprint run. At the moment, they're heading into the sprint. So, first of all, we're going to have the climb going to Vink. There's no way anybody's going to beat Vink up there, I suspect. And then we're going to have the sprint as well for our Category 2, so all action already.
Well, really interesting there with Vink taking that from Loxley. According to my results, we're going to see the official ones come up on the screen in a moment. But no, those are 2 teammates, Matt, fighting it out for the Queen of the Mountains competition. But I wonder whether they've had a good chat about tactics or whether this is playing out on the road. So indeed, we are looking there at the results of that Talmarie climb. Vink picking up 5 points, Loxley picking up 4, Mansouri picking up 3, Madeira picking up 2.
And the fact we've got 4 riders on there, that is a result of the fact that this is live. And those are the riders who have passed that point, indicating there's a big gap back. Now, onto the sprint for Category 2. We've got Angie Parra going off the front at the moment. She is at the moment looking like she's doing a para at the start rather than necessarily getting a good sprint time here, because I'd expect somebody to come flying through from the back. And you can see the packer mobbing in over the top here. Now, we're looking to see whether our sprint leader is going to take this in. That is Lopez at the moment, but she has Hermansson to battle with. We're looking to see who's going to take it out at the end of this. Very, very close, I suspect, because no real definitive rocket ship through from the back to the front.
No, there wasn't, but it's looking like it is an interestingly close sprint. But Lopez awarded the 5 points. Hermansson in 4, Engstrom gets 3, Miller gets 2, and Geraldo Agudelo Arias, gets 1.
Okay, so here we go. The results update, and this is because it is in live. Interestingly, the 1, 2, 3 on your screen is also the 1, 2, 3 in the competition as we came in at the start of the day. So basically, they've retained their positions. They've just got bigger gaps between them.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? And I think that's going to be interesting as that plays out. So will that pattern continue? Will Lopez continue to take the sprints from Hermansson and Engstrom, or will it become a different order as we roll through the day?
So there are 45 points left available. So when the gap between the riders becomes bigger than 45 points, it is absolutely impossible for the riders to beat the rider in front. However, what we're going to see is obviously that the available points go down, and in theory, the riders will have higher point scores, so there will be, in theory, bigger gaps. But that doesn't always work out, and it is totally subject to what the riders do out there, as well, of course, as the verification process, because at the moment, all of the results coming to you are as live at the moment on your screens. When the race finishes and all of our riders have got onto the rollers or spinning down, or they're going to be in there just doing a nice warm down and using one of the MyWhoosh warm down programs, or they're sat in an ice bath, or maybe with a cake and something nice and fizzy at the end. Who knows? Whatever floats your boat, however you want to recover. When we reach that stage, then the results will go unofficial, and then after that, we will then be going into the official verified results. And remember, it's the verified results that will decide the allocation of the prize money. So let's head across to the money and let's see what they are looking at.
Yeah, so this is category 2, and you can see another increase on category 3, again, of course, matched in the men's and women's. So individual classification for the overall, $7,500 for first place. For that first team, $31,500. The sprint, youth, Queen of the Mountains and Masters is up to $3,750. And the overall daily prize money increases as well. So the stage winner today taking away $750, the sprint winner $375, likewise the Queen of the Mountains.
Great prizes, and of course ramping up as we head up towards our category 1. And the race are really interesting here in all of our categories, but looking here at our leading 4 riders here in category 4, Ella Vink kicking her way in through the finish here at the sprint of this is going to be our second sprint, isn't it, Emma, if we're at 15.3k?
Yeah, absolutely. So the second sprint of the day coming at 14.9. So it is indeed that second sprint. That's the Tel Marib sprint. So we've done the Tel Marib Lake sprint. This is now the Tel Marib sprint. And take a look at that. Vink again picking up 5 points. Madeira picking up 4. Al-Mansouri picking up 3. And Loxley picking up 2. But let's be mindful. The pack is behind. So this could change.
It is. And if that pack is a bigger size pack, if they just take it steady, they go, do you know what, we're not going to figure in the overall prizes, we're not going to challenge the people in front, we have our own private battle at the back, rise steadier, kick harder through the sprint, all 4 of those riders could be off the top of the sprint standings. So that's why they have to go flat out, because they don't have the knowledge coming behind. There is an advantage of being behind. You know what time you have to set. In front, Vink has got to go flat out for everything if she wants to be totally assured of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting here, isn't it? So we've got a breakaway of 4 riders now, just over, well, coming up for 16 kilometres into this race in category 4. We've got a large group just over 10 kilometres in category 3 into this race. They are transitioning through that Tel Marib climb section, that category 4 climb. There are category 2 riders 4.3 kilometres into this race. They've gone through the first sprint and they are around 2k out from that Tel Marib climb start. You can just see that starting to come up on the right hand corner of the screen in their graphic for them. Our category 1 riders, Matt, they are still warming up and they are in the start pen.
They are indeed in that start pen, and they have by my reckoning about 7 minutes or so to the start. But remember, of course, all of our riders are going to be fighting it out across this same course. It's 50 kilometers. There are 1,100 meters of climbing. A quick reminder for you of just what these riders are facing. And now just under 6 minutes to a race start. Our elite riders are lined up. This is category 1, the top of the tree. They get the biggest prize fund. They have the fastest racing, and that is reflected in the overall. So in terms of our team competition, our teams at the moment, the Risky Biscuits team, they currently have riders in 4th, 6th, 7th and 8th places in the overall standings. The nearest rider to our race leader, it's going to be 6 minutes 28 down.
Yeah, it is indeed. So some big time gaps after yesterday's, after the after the last stage. We are getting caught out there, aren't we? So after the last stage, some big time gaps because of that attack from Bauer and that long category 1 climb.
So on to our Asian Awards teams. This is the squad, which of course contains Cordero. So Cordero, who took a win on stage 3, third overall, is sub 4 minutes down on our race leader Bauer. But this is still relatively close from third all the way, I think, down to about fifth, sixth, seventh position, because you're still talking only a few minutes rather than massive amounts, even though we are going up for the very big climb at the end.
Well, Cordero has started coming into her own, hasn't she, in the last couple of stages, where it has become more and more about your climbing ability. Kokkonen has been there or thereabouts, so some really good riding there too.
So just taking a look at our final team in terms of the team competition, you can see that we have Santiago, Sanchez and Sanchez. So Julie and Jenny Sanchez of our riders. Well, Julie is higher up in the overall competition, as she is currently in 9th place with Jenny Sanchez in 10th. But in the sprints competition, Jenny Sanchez is the one with the big kick. So really interesting to see the differences between our riders. Let's take a look at the team standings. So it's Risky Biscuits from Asian Watts from Golden Wheels. And that's where they stand at the moment in terms of team competition. And the Crank Sisters team, which contains our leading rider now, consists of Jojo Bauer and Gemma Brogan. And with 2 riders, they therefore can't qualify for the team competition, which is why they're not on your screen. So a quick explanation from that, from the depths of my deep-seated knowledge, I'd like to say, or it's perhaps because I've got one of those really dodgy memories. So, sprint standings, points, 79 points for Jenny Sanchez, and that is a substantial gap. Remember, there are only 50 points left. This could be the day Jenny Sanchez wraps up that competition.
Absolutely, that green jersey, she's going to have it on her back today. Today, she could keep it on her back all the way to the end of the final stage if she performs really well. I'm assuming that is going to be her strategy, but we will wait and see what Kokkonen, Brogan, and the other riders can do today.
And this is going to be really interesting, because I think you may well see some chatting behind the scenes about who's going to do what and who's going to help who on the way through. Now, Queen of the Mountain standing. This is the 2 teammates on the Crank Sisters. It's Gemma Brogan and Jojo Bauer at the top of the standings, with Brogan taking the Queen of the Mountain standings at the moment. Jojo Bauer is our leader on general classification, and that's a great illustration, isn't it, of the difference between going for mountain points, where you maybe score some on the way through in the mountains early, like the Talmarine climbs, versus the top of the final climb. Big difference in terms of points, but it's that time over the finish line that counts for GC.
Yeah, on stage 4, we saw Bauer the first over the line, but Brogan, who finished in 2nd place, set the fastest time up that climb.
So let's take a look at the jersey holders. These are the people who won these respective categories on stage 4. And remember, of course, we have the rest day in between. Jojo Bauer taking the win, the points going to Brogan in terms of the Queen of the Mountains in the red and white polka dot jersey. Jenny Sanchez in the green of the sprint jersey, and Maria Santiago again proving just how strong she is. She's our youth leader at the moment, and doing quite well with a top 10 on stage 3 as well. So great riding by the youngster.
Absolutely. So as the women sit in that start pen, keeping their legs warm, our other riders now out all over this course.
So we have 4 categories, 3 underway, 1 about to leave the pens. Category 4 in red, category 3 in blue, category 2 in the green, and category 1 in yellow. Our leaders of each category, well, they wear a complete skin suit, whether that is the polka dot, the yellow, the green, whether that is our white of the youth or the teal blue of the Masters 50 plus competition. Our riders lined up, ready to go. We are in with Cordero at the moment, 3rd overall. She's got a stage win on stage 3. She's going to be looking to take this out from our race start. But this, the final category, about to make the way off into competition after their day off from competition, if not off from the bike.
Yeah, so away spin our legs on these women to the final countdown, the final 15 seconds before the start of Category 1 on Stage 5. So we are Stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships, 50 kilometres and 1,100 metres of climbing. Face our Category 1 women today. They are the last group of riders on the course as they head out of the start pens and very quickly come up to over 40 kilometres an hour. The momentum off that start line, picking up that pace very, very quickly as they settle down now into a large group and they are out on the course.
So really interesting to see what they do here coming into the sprints, because this is all about whether or not, for me, Jenny Sanchez really sets this clear. Now, she could increase, if she takes the top spot, she will increase the lead over second place. Now, for Kekkonen, she needs to really be starting to win these, doesn't she? Head to head, Kekkonen needs to beat Sanchez on the way through, wherever they are in the standings. That's pretty much how that's what it boils down to. If she's got any chance of taking that away, I mean, mathematically it's possible, but it's got to be a big, big ask at this stage.
Well, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what tactics these women start playing as they come running into that sprint coming up 1.8 kilometres into this course, so very, very early. And we can see already riders wanting to cover the back of the group because we saw yesterday some fantastic technique. And is there going to be any other tactics from this bunch?
So that is our Category 1 riders. They're heading into the sprint. Looks like our Category 3 riders already over the top of the Tamari climb section as well. So all happening here on the MyWhoosh Championships. And we've just got to get those results confirmed for you. And we'll try and bring you those after this sprint and after we've seen the start of Category 1, because, of course, our starts are super critical. So 4 categories. We've got climbing section, long climbing mountain, we've got the finish line, and of course our 5 sprints. That's a lot of coverage for the cameras. Fortunately, we have our split screens and you can see the respective groups out on the road at the moment. So Category 4, right hand bottom side of your screen, bottom left, that is Category 3. Then you can just see 2 and 1. Really interesting.
Yeah, really interesting tactic going on in the Category 1 race at the moment, because Jenny Tan has almost completely came off the pedals there. Jenny Sanchez completely came off the pedals there to drop back way off the group, and now she's pushed on a little bit there. Hadlock is also pushing on. A little bit of confusion there for me, because Jenny Tan, obviously a Category 2 rider, wears green. Jenny Sanchez is in the green jersey in the Category 1 race.
Maybe if you want to sprint, you need to be called Jenny. Now remember,
obviously
this starts at 1.8k. You can see the banner coming, and this is where Jenny Sanchez is taking that little bit of a layoff. And that's the technical term. It comes from track racing, where you would lay off the back of the group. You would then use the banking, if you're on a velodrome, to drop down, pick up pace, and then run at the group. Now, this is the run at the group. She's coming down off the banking. She's running at the group. She's picked up the pace. She's now going to use the draft to reduce the amount of effort she needs to do. You can see the numbers flicking into green on the top left-hand side. This means that she came in with a gap. She's now going to be the fastest rider on the road because she started last and she's up at the front. Can she hold the front? You can't afford to fade, so you don't want to go too early. That was a long layoff, but she surely is going to come through for that time there, Emma. That can't be touched.
Well, I don't think so, but it was very, very interesting to see the late charge from the pack. We saw those red numbers come up late, with Donny and Fua putting in really big efforts, and Montoya. Going to be really interesting, I think, to see those results.
Well, let's have a look. Jenny Sanchez adding to her points total, and I'm going to take a little bit of a look down here. Montoya, Fua, Gerardo Arias and Bauer. That now means that Jenny Sanchez has scored what is going to be 84 points. Who's missing off those points, Emma? Kekkonen is missing off those points. And with Kekkonen not taking any points there, that would mean that she's still on 33. Sanchez on 84. By my reckoning, that is more than 45 points that are left. Therefore, congratulations, Jenny, you just won. Subject to verification, subject to live results, subject to those points being confirmed, and subject, of course, to Nolan Kokona not coming flying through a lot further back out of our site. You just won that competition.
Yeah, well, she's absolutely showing us how it's done, isn't she? Because Jenny Sanchez absolutely nailed the technique on that sprint and really, really showing what technique you need to use to set a fastest time through the sprints on MyWhoosh.
Yeah, great riding there, and I think just reward, because she set out very early to do that in the competition, didn't we? She, I mean, I know.
Oh, it's been her tactic from day one.
You coined the phrase "the golden sprint wheels" based on that team's sprinting ability and their power, and it's paid off. I mean, congratulations. You don't need to worry about the sprints now, Jenny. Go have an ice cream or something. I don't know.
Oh no! She's got to finish stage 5, stage 6, and stage 7 to pick up that sprint competition overall. So no ice creams allowed yet.
She is top 10 as well in the overall competition at the start of today. Although she was 55 minutes down on our race leader in category 1, she was still in 10th position. Now it's a teammate in 9th. In fact, to get into 8th position, she would have to make up some sort of Sanchez, but she won't go backwards. So let's have a look at what Jenny Sanchez has won.
Potentially.
Subject to verification. You're going to get really tired of us saying subject to verification by stage 8, 7. Believe me. Here we go. So let's have a look. You can see here the overall is at the top, the daily prize money is at the bottom, and the overall sprint winner, $5,000. And that is basically, it's there, it's hovering just in front of Jenny Sanchez. She's provisionally got it in her back pocket. Nobody can pick that out of her pocket. It's got to be a major issue for that to disappear out of there. And that's great riding. Well done to Jenny. Don't forget, of course, these are huge prizes. $10,000 for the overall general classification winner. And that is currently, of course, Jojo Bauer who's leading that competition.
Yeah, and indeed is Jojo Bauer leading the competition, and it is a very close run with her teammate Gemma Brogan. But Brogan, interestingly, in 2 on the general classification, 2 minutes 49 seconds back. 3rd place, 3 minutes 59 seconds back. So some big time gaps established, mainly in stage 4, but there could well be even bigger time gaps today, and it's going to be interesting to see where those arise in the field.
So just seeing Daniela Marin just pushing on through, and one of the things that it did occur to me that when we saw Jenny Sanchez go and put such a big effort in there is that risk, isn't there, that you put in such a hard effort, the rest of the group don't go for it on the sprint, but they then push on afterwards. You find yourself distanced inadvertently, and then you're in trouble because you've got a long way to ride on your own, and all the rest of the sprints will sort of carry on around you. For Sanchez, not so much of an issue, but it would definitely dent her overall to get distance at this stage. Remember, we've just come through sprint number 1. We have got the climbs coming up, first of all, of the Tamari climb section. Now, this is the area out and around the lakes. You'll see it on the map, the big loop. And as we make our way around the lakes, the Tamari climb section consists of 3 hills. We work your way up the first hill. We start at the base of the first hill, and that's actually just coming up on the top right-hand side of your screen. So you can just see that course profile, the green arrow, that's the tiny little green arrow on your screen. So maybe it's a huge arrow if you've got a really nice big projector onto a wall at home. That green arrow, top right-hand side, pointing to the riders. You can see the rise and the swell up to the right of the green arrow. That is the first of the 3 hills. We drop down and then instantly ascend number 2. We then drop down off number 2. We have a transfer across the bridge over the lake, and then we go into climb number 3. And it's at the top of climb number 3 that the end of that climbing section is complete. So really very different to the last horse category part of the mountains, and that is, of course, the big long climb.
Yeah, really interesting though, Matt. Marin has pushed on and wanted to pick the pace up a bit because the pace sat back after that sprint. So Marin has pushed on at around 5 watts per kilo and they've been happy to let her go. But Bauer now deciding that the time gap was too much and she's pushed to come across. Bjarhead is also now pushing to come across. So that would be an interesting group of 3. Bauer, Marin and Bjarhead. Donny is at the front of the group and you can see, look at that top right hand corner of your screen, Fua is wanting to come over as well. I think this is now going to get closed down because you can see the stretch there and you can see the riders not happy with this. So Bjarhead, Donny, Fua, Carvajal, all closing that gap down now. A couple of riders, we've got a number of gaps here. So Marin, Bauer and Donny, it looks like, no, Marin and Bauer, sorry, out front. This is the second group on the road we are looking at, which is Cordero, Donny, Bjarhead. Carvajal is now coming up onto that and Fua. And then we've got another big gap to the group behind.
The riders that come through, really interesting this split here that Emma's just pointed out. I was busy looking at our notes, and whilst the riders might get a rest day, really interesting that Daniela Marin has had a great stage 1 and stage 2. Not so good on stage 3, but she was second on stage 2, which was the Wollongong climb, where we got some really steep gradients. And then yesterday she was in 8th position in the climb overall. Really interesting to see she's gone out early. I suspect all that will come back together again due to the fact that Bauer's gone down the road, and they will all want to close that down, other than maybe Brogan. Now, just going in with our category 3 riders who are currently making their way through 18.79k, which means that they are not far off the third of the sprints. But for me, really key here, aggressive racing. This is starting to stretch and we are seeing breaks.
Yeah, we are indeed. And we are looking at that there. So we've got 4 riders by the look of that out front. We've now got a couple of riders, I think, just deciding whether they're going to close that gap down or not. I'm not sure. We have actually got a big move coming, but a bit of a push here. So this is indeed a flat section, but you can see again, Matt, a couple of riders, a gap, a couple of riders, a gap, the rest of the group. So that is indeed the sprint banner up ahead. That is at 14, no it's not, sorry, apologies, it's 19.2 kilometres. They've already done the 14.9 kilometre sprint. So this is sprint number 3 and that is the start banner ahead.
So here we go, we are coming in, and this is the other Jenny. This is Jenny Tan, or that we are looking at to see whether she can take the riders on. But interestingly, that we've got Carolus going for this now. So Sarah Carolus are really pushing on hard here. She's trying to move her way up and through the competition here, trying to get that fastest time. And I suspect she's likely to get an incredibly quick time. We're just dealing with Lopez, who goes through, I think, in second place. And this is where that danger comes, that danger point where the riders can break clear and continue their push onwards. And you can make some time on a exit of a sprint, and you can lose time. So let's have a look at those times. You've got Carolus coming through with that fastest time, taking the 5 points, 4 points for Lopez, 3 for Tan, 2 for Agadello, and 1 for Carmona. So that battle continues onwards. Agadello and Tan, as well as Carolus, all battling it out in those top positions.
Yeah, so category 3 moving really well, and Carolus really now starting to pick up the pace, picking up that 5 points there.
So in with Jojo Bauer, in with our category 1 riders here, and you can just see that Jojo Bauer is sitting very smoothly here in this pack here. We've got Cordero, Bauer, Marin, Brogan. You've got Fua in the mix. This is the first of those 3 hills. This is the ascent in the start segment here. So the first of our climbing segments, and it is Bauer, who is out of the saddle now. Jojo Bauer is the rider that's in that yellow skin suit as our leader overall. But it could be really interesting to watch what happens behind these riders. This rear view looking back really critical as Catherine Four pushes on. She's just gone through the camera shot there and has started to stretch out her legs over the top here. And she will be looking to break this. And I suspect that there is a degree of doing damage to people in the overall classification as they come over the top here, because I think there's a fight going on here, and they are aware that behind them there are riders who are battling in the general classification who are maybe not in the mix and are now going to have to really work to get back on.
Yeah, and this section here, Matt, allowing them to really start to break this group, and I think that's going to be really telling. I think that Category 4 climb coming early on the course today is going to establish a lead group in that Category 1 race.
So our Category 2 riders a little bit further down the road. They're now coming in to sprint number 3. So let's take a look. We'll get through this sprint, and let's have a look at this Category 2 coming through the Talmarie sprint. So down by the exit of the lake area section as they come out and away from the Talmarie Hill. So here we go. This is the run now. We're looking for a rocket to go flying through from back to front. Lopez is pretty much on the front, having to open up here, but Hermansen is on her heels. Hermansen, the second rider in the row there with the cap rather than the white helmet. Lopez came through first, but I'm not sure she'll have the fastest time. Let's take a look at those results. So here come the results. It is Lopez who does take that. Wow, really interesting, because that was very close indeed. Lopez in 1, Hermansen in 2, Engstrom in 3, Miller in 4, and Bardaskaya in 5, scoring 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points respectively. Really interesting result there. And when you look at the watts per kilo, Hermansen consistently rides smart, doesn't she, Emma? She's riding in there in the race, and she's got a lower watts per kilo and still pushing out some big watts, but low watts per kilo on the way through. So clearly she's playing to her strengths.
Yeah, and that's about technique, Matt. You know, it's about positioning in the pack and utilising that draft. But interestingly, those first 4, same first 4 as in sprint number 1 of the day.
So jumping in with Category 1, this is Cordero, who has just gone clear on the front.
4 seconds back to Bauer, and then even further 12 seconds back to Fua, Brogan, Marin, Donny. You know, so this is really hotting up.
So our riders coming up. Way up to the top of the climb here, and heading up over the top of the second of these parts of the 3 hills that make up the Talmarie climb here. And this is doing some damage here. You've got Jojo Bauer a second behind, but Brogan, Fua, Marin, Donny and Bjerhed all further back, nearly quarter of a minute back, in fact, at this stage. And that means that our 2 leaders, Cordero and Bauer, have a gap, and this is very telling indeed. The profile of this stage is such that we had the 1 sprint, it rose up, we've going through the 3 hills. This is the flat section across, a slight descent and then flat section across the bridge over the lake. We then climb the 3rd hill, but then we got a long run, long run, all the way in and through. That goes from about 12.5 kilometers to 37k. So that's going to be really, really telling what happens with these 2 away. Just jumping across now to our Category 3 riders here. They are making their way around the circuit. They are at 22.7k, and it doesn't look like we've got the same breakaway that we've seen in the Category 1, where we have got a gap opening now for Cordero. So we're going to be trying to keep our eye simultaneously on all these categories. Category 1 with the breakaway of 2 riders, Cordero and Bauer. 15 seconds clear last we saw. Simultaneously, categories 2, 3, and 4 on the way round. Now, I am very shortly going to be leaving. I'm going to try to stay as long as I dare before I sprint across to the other studio. And Emma, you are going to be continuing on with the action here.
Yeah, I am indeed. But at 23 kilometres, they've only got 500 metres now till they run into sprint number 4. So we're going to make Matt stay and see who takes the win or takes the points and the win in that sprint before he leaves us, because this is really hotting up and it is really, really getting interesting.
It certainly is. I think for me, really, with the evolution, and this is one of the things I was really looking forward to with the stage racing, that you've got so many stories going on here. I mean, we've got the sprints, we've got the mountain, we've got the technique, you've got the developing of the riders. People like Jenny here in the green here. You know, her technique is so much a part of what makes her such an effective sprinter, and the way that she rises. But look at this, Carolus really was this.
And Lopez. I mean, they're all coming back.
And Agudelo is right in front. It's kind of like the last 4 riders in the group are the fastest 4 riders in the sprints. Here we go. We're riding in with Carolus, who's wearing the polka dot skin suit here. So Sarah Carolus picks up the pace. Agudelo just dropping in behind her. Now Agudelo came in before her, so she's got to get in front and open the gap on Carolus at the end, and she's starting to do that.
Yeah, she's gone up and over the top.
Is this going to be enough? Carolus' response. Now, I don't think that'll be enough. Carolus was further behind coming in than we saw Agudelo in front. And I think at the end of the stage today, bearing in mind that we are at the 4th of 5 sprints, I've done some very rough calculations in my head. This is going to be incredibly close at the end of today's stage, whatever happens in the 5th sprint, because Lopez has just taken 5 points, Carolus 4, 3 from Tan, 2 for Agudelo, and 1 for Walkenhurst. This is absolutely cracking.
It is. And do you know what, Matt? I think Jenny Tan is managing this really carefully, because she hasn't been out fast and she's not been picking up those 5 points. They've been going to Carolus and Lopez, but she's been regularly picking up 3. And now that may well be because she needs to ensure she puts in a good climb at the end of the day, because she's currently lying 3rd on GC.
Yep, really smart riding here, and there's the potential for the other riders to take advantage of that on the way through. Now, from where these riders are at 23k, remember this is a 50k stage. 50k stage. So we have a run to 36.9k with 1 sprint on the way through. It does get hilly towards the end of this run into the mountain, and then the mountain to ascend. So Emma, on the YouTube channel, and I spent a lot of time watching TV yesterday as well as looking at the notes, doing both simultaneously quite often, because there's just so much to cover on a non-competition day. There's lots of coverage, there's lots to see, there's lots of action. The women's race is amazing, and I loved watching this back, and I loved the variation in tactics, and you've got to be enjoying calling that. I'm going to go head across to the men to start the men's racing, and of course everyone can pick it up there as well. How have you enjoyed watching back the men's start? Because that's slightly different, isn't it?
Yeah, I see myself in the lucky position, because at the moment I'm calling the women's finish and joining you for the men's finish, Matt, as we see Category 2 go through that sprint there. But you know, it is indeed, you're watching the women's finish back, I'm watching the men's start back, and what I'm finding really interesting is comparing what is happening in the women's and men's race.
Well, perfect time to do that, because I am going to just head off and into the studio. Emma, enjoy the racing here on the women's competition. Thank you very much, everybody, for having me here for the start of the women's race. I'll head over to the men's, and I'll leave you in the more than capable hands of Emma Martin.
Okay, so Matt has left the studio and he is off over to the other studio to start the men's race. I shall be joining him for that once our women's race is finished. And you can obviously tune into both of those races on the YouTube channel. You can have them playing simultaneously, or you can stay with us and watch the end of the women's race, then tune in to the men's race. Now, we have the category 1 women at 13.5 kilometres into this 50 kilometre stage. Our category 2 women 20.5k now complete. Our category 3 riders are at 26.3 kilometres, and our category 4 women at 32k. Now, this 50 kilometre course today for stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships. We are in Arabia. 1100 meters of climbing, 5 sprints and 2 categorized climbs. One category 4 climb and one hot category climb is the Hebel Haif, that is the rider facing at the end of the course today. So with 629 meters coming in the last 11 kilometers of this course today, this is a hot category climb that our women will be facing at the end of today's stage. That checkered flag coming 500 meters after the finish banner for the Queen of the Mountains competition. So who will take the stage? Who will take the fastest time up that climb at the end? It is going to be a really interesting day. Our sprint competition is hotting up. Those first 4 sprints coming in the first half of this course today, bringing absolutely fast and furious sprinting, and the points now becoming really close in the competitions. So we drop in with our category 1 riders, currently at 14.2 kilometers. The climb now, first category 4 climb completed for them, and we're seeing a break here now. So Jojo Bauer and Leslie Ann Cordero now 1 minute, I'm just going to say it again, 1 minute up the road. Donny, Fua and Brogan are the 3 riders in this chase group. Marin is there as well, rounding it out to 4. So 2 riders clear, Cordero and Bauer. Donny, Fua, Brogan and Marin, the 4 chase riders. So that category 4 climb coming early in this race today, really breaking up this category 1 pack, and riders really having to think about and chase hard and ensure they are in the place they want to be. So Cordero and Bauer 1 minute clear of Fua, Donny, Brogan and Marin. So huge gap established by Cordero and Bauer already in the first 15 kilometers of this category 1 race today. As the group we are watching, this is the chase group. Donny, Brogan, Marin and Fua just come under that banner. And that is the sprint number 2, the Tel Marib sprint in this category 1 race. Now, it's not looking like anybody is interested here in this group to contend this sprint. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens now in this sprint competition. So Bauer and Cordero already through the sprint, neither of them particularly contending it at all. So 3 watts per kilo average from Bauer at that point in time. This is the chase group going through here. So this will be 6 riders through the sprint. But take a look at this. None of the riders actually contending that sprint. So 3 watts per kilo, 3.1, 2.1 from Brogan, 2 from Marin, not contending the sprint at all. So currently fastest through the sprint, Bauer, Cordero, Fua, Donny, Brogan and Marin, leaving the door open for the riders further down the field to contend that sprint and take the points. So it's going to be interesting to see if the riders look at taking those points. We've just dropped back in with Jenny Sanchez, who's currently the leader in that green jersey, that sprint competition in category 1, but she is significantly down the road. So Jenny Sanchez is a long way down the road from those leading riders. The leading riders in this category now through sprint number 2, Jenny Sanchez just over the final part of the category 4 climb. at 12.9 kilometers. She still has 2 kilometers before she sees the front banner of that second sprint. So Bauer and Cordero now over 3.5 kilometers in front of Jenny Sanchez, the leader in that sprint competition. They have gone through sprint number 3. So dropping in with category 4, this was our first group underway today. So coming up for 35 kilometers into this 50-kilometer race, this is Ella Vink. Vink is our leader at the moment in that sprint competition. She's also currently the leader in the Queen of the Mountains competition. Amy Loxley, her teammate, is wearing the yellow jersey, leading GC. Now Loxley is in 2 at the moment. Vink is 18 seconds clear. You can just see on that shot in front of Loxley that Vink is the rider up the road. Now, Vink and Loxley are clear of the chasing group. So Madeira in 3 is riding with Al Mansouri, so a 2-rider chase group. They are 2 minutes back. So Vink in 1, Loxley in 2, and then the chase group behind. This is the race in the category 3 race, and you can see Terry Tandingen putting in an attack here. So Tandingen putting in an attack. Tandingen moving clear of the group. She's 5 seconds clear, but the chase group is all together. Barragan, Botero, Carmona, Lopez, all in this chase group. Agudelu is there as well. So Tandingen putting in a strong effort. Now, if you can remember back to stage 3, we saw Tandingen on the attack there as well. She was caught in the latter stages of the race, but was still rewarded with 4th place overall. She was 6th in stage 4. Today is stage 5, and she is on the attack again. Barragan comes across. Botero is closing down. Molina is leading the charge from the group behind, along with Jenny Tan. But we are now also seeing breaks towards the back of that group. So interestingly now, coming up for the 30-kilometer mark, we are seeing a stretch on this category 3 group. They are coming into this rolling section. We've got a bit of a climb here, and then we go over the top and we dip down as we head towards that final sprint of the day at 32.5k. So it is all happening now in our category 3 race in the latter parts of this stage 5 today on the MyWhoosh Championships. Tandingen has gone on the attack. Barragan has closed her down. Botero has come over. So this group now being formed with 3 riders. We've got 2 category 4 back markers in here as well. We have Sarasuk in here and Oliveri. So these riders just in the mix here as they get caught by the leading trio in our category 3 race. So Walkenhurst and Corollas in this category 3 race, the 2 riders at the front of the chase group behind. That gap now out to 7 seconds. So it is a 7-second gap for the leading 3 in the category 3 race. On the right hand side of your screen, Ella Vink now at 36-kilometer mark. She is clear by around 20 seconds of Amy Loxley, and then a gap of over 1:44 by the look of that to Al Mansouri and Madeira. Then Liz Smithson is the rider leading the group behind, with Poulton and Pelagio in there as well. So Ella Vink shortly about to see the foothills of the hot category climb that is coming at the end of this course today. We say the end of the course, but it is a 11.7 kilometer climb, 629 meters with an average gradient just shy of 6%. So Vink, our leader in the category 4 race, shortly to see that final climb. Barragan, Tandingen here in the category 3 race on the left hand side of your screen, pushing on. Now we drop in with our category 1 leaders. This is Cordero and Bauer. And as you can see from that shot and that camera angle, Cordero and Bauer are now significantly clear of the rest of the field. They are coming up for 20 kilometres now under their wheels with a gap of 1 minute 45 back to the chase group, and that chase group being led by Fua. Donny is in there, Brogan is in there, Marin is there, so is, she says, just quickly looking down that. Yeah, so these riders now continuing to push on. We are seeing these riders, Giraldo Arrayas is there, and then Marin, but then the gap goes back for another minute further down the road to Biarhead. So all big gaps now in this category 1 race. So in our category 2 competition, we still have a large group at the front at the moment, and that is very different from what we're seeing now play out in the other 3 categories. So Koinsonen is there with Lopez, with Shepherd, with Hermassen, with Zimmerman, with Quintero. Engstrom is in there as well. This is a large group. We're seeing a bit of a stretch, a bit of a push on at the moment, and this is an interesting move as they stretch this group, but the group looking as though it is going to come back together again. It's Constantine just putting in a bit of a push at the front. Shepherd brings it back with Bardeskar and Enstrom. We've got one rider just off the back at the moment, but closing in back on to the group. So Koinsonen pushing there in our category 2 race, pushing to try and establish a small gap, but not achieving what Ella Vink in our category 4 race has done. So Vink now on the final climb of the day, and you can see that profile on that top right hand screen on your screen right now, as Vink is where that green arrow is, right at the bottom of the climb as she takes that right hand sweeping bend. The gradient moving up just 4.5% at the moment, but it will continue and there will be steeper sections. So Vink in 1, Loxley in 2. There's now a 30-second gap back here. Now this is an interesting move because currently at the end of the stage yesterday, Vink was 40 seconds back on GC. So Loxley holds the yellow jersey. Vink in 2 on GC, 40 seconds back. She's now got a 30-second gap on Loxley. This is all to play for in this category 4 race today. So Vink and Loxley now the 2 riders out front in our category 4 race. Whilst there's a 30-second gap separating them, they are now 4 minutes clear of the chasing group. So in our category 3 race at 32.5 kilometres. This is sprint number 5. This is the final sprint of the day for category 3. They push on here. Tanningen is actually pushing on hard from the front. She's leading this out at 6.6 watts per kilo. Barragan is following with Botero and Molina. Walkenhurst has not picked up the pace, but she is in the group behind. So Tanningen, Barragan, Botero and Molina, the lead group of 4 in this category. We've then got Walkenhurst and Corollas who have been contending the sprints. They are 22 seconds behind and now going through the sprint. We see Sarah Corollas kick hard. Julia Walkenhurst is following. Carmona is there as well. But this is a different style of sprint at the moment because the front 4 have already gone through and these can now no longer utilise the draft from that group as they were doing earlier on. So it is going to be interesting to see that results from the Kingsway sprint for our category 3 riders. So it is indeed an interesting result on the Kingsway sprint. This is the final sprint of the day, sprint number 5. Tan rounding out today, picking up 5 points. Agudelu, the rider, picking up 4. Corollas, who we saw sprinting hard, they're picking up 3. Tandingen, who led it out from the front group, picking up 2. And Carmona rounding out the points, taking 1 point. So we just drop in with Jenny Tan, having completed picking up 5 points in that sprint competition. There are now no more sprints today for category number 3. So Tan now pushing on. She's got the rest of the course to complete, but currently picking up a large number of points in that sprint competition and enhancing that green jersey. It's going to be interesting to see the standings at the end of the stage today. So 33.8 kilometres, we have Jenny Tan there currently leading that sprint competition in category 3. Our category 2 riders at 28.5 kilometres, still a large pack of riders here, very different to our other categories. So a large group of category 2 riders pushing on and coming up for that 29.5 kilometre mark. Category 1 riders just shy of 23k. We've got 2 riders clear here, Bauer and Cordero, and they are significantly clear of a chase group, Fua, Donny, Brogan and Marin. We also have Geraldo Arraias in that group. So 2 riders clear, a chase group of 5 in category 1. It is really interesting to see who has made the juncture there to that group and who is out front. So it is Bauer and Cordero out front. Bauer from the Crank Sisters, Cordero from Asian Watts. Bauer in first place on GC, Cordero in third place on GC. She is 3 minutes 59 down on Bauer. In between those 2 riders is Bauer's teammate Gemma Brogan at 2:49. Now Brogan holds the mountain competition at the moment with 24 points. Can she show that amazingly outstanding climbing ability in the last 11 kilometres of this race today to close that gap down and ensure she picks up maximum points in that competition today? So we can see here in front of us on the screen, on the left-hand side of your screen, is Bauer and Cordero. They are going through sprint number 4. That is the start banner of sprint number 4. A little bit further back down the road, just over a kilometre back, is the chase group of Donny, Fua, Brogan, Geraldo Arraias and Marin. Those riders now pushing on. We've got a little gap just occurring, but no, they are squeezing back on those pedals to close that down because Brogan is on the front here with Donny and Fua. Geraldo Arraias and Marin, the riders, just having to squeeze on those pedals to close that gap and come back to that chase group of 5. So 2 riders clear in our category 1 race, a chase group of 5. They are 2 minutes behind now. Further back down the field, Biarhead and Estrada lead the chase group. There is another 50 seconds back to Biarhead. Estrada a minute and a half. So we've got individual riders now scattered across the course behind. So the damage really being done by Cordero and Bauer at the front. So our chasing group coming up to that sprint number 4. Whilst we take a look at Bauer on the front here, Cordero in 2, just closing onto her wheels, coming up and over the top of Bauer. These are our 2 riders who are now clear in this category 1 race. They are significantly clear, over 2 minutes clear of the group behind. A short rolling section now before a climb, a dip. The final sprint of the day at 32.5 kilometres, and then at 36.9k today, the start of our hot category climb. So Cordero starts to push here, Bauer into these riders, keeping a strong, steady pace as they just drop onto this small descent. The chase group behind being led by Brogan, Fua and Donny. So these 3 riders continuing to push. Marin just a little bit further down the road. So Marin seems to have just pushed on a little bit, picking up the pace. Just 1 second as we push on here. So Brogan sitting up there all the way through that town sprint now. So the sprint number 4 complete for our category 1 women. Well, for our first and second group, so 6 riders from category 1 through that sprint. Marin pushes on. Marin's actually put in an effort against that sprint, so taking 5 points at the moment. Fua in 2 picks up 4, Donny picks up 3, Brogan picks up 2, and Bauer picks up 1. Now taking a look at those average watts per kilo, some of those riders, Jojo Bauer has not contended that sprint. They've picked up points in that sprint competition because of their place. Now you can see riders a little bit further back going through the sprint and just picking up some of those times. So these results are live. Don't forget, you can head over to MyWhoosh/results for the live results of this competition today. Once the race is over, they will be unofficial, then they will be verified, and then there will be official final results. And you can find that all on the MyWhoosh website. So Marin utilising her power and pushing on for that sprint in the Category 1 race. Our Category 3 riders now further down the road. They will shortly be seeing the foothills of the Hebel Hace, the final climb of the day, our Hort category climb with the checkered flag at the top. It is a long Queen of the Mountains segment, 11.7 kilometers. They will finish the segment and they will have a 500-meter run into that checkered flag, that finish line. So Category 3 riders, Barragan and Botero are the 2 riders you can see just up ahead of Tandingen. Tandingen there in 3rd position. 16 seconds behind is Molina. 42 seconds behind is Walkenhurst. So these Category 3 riders, before we have got to the final climb of the day, now spread all over this course. So Botero and Barragan, the 2 riders out. Botero currently in 8th position. Barragan, we are just taking a look through. Barragan in 6th overall. Interestingly, the time gap, so Barragan in 6th, but 20 minutes back. Walkenhurst, the rider behind, 2:23 back from our leader. Our leader, Maria Carmona, currently on GC, not in this early group. So on the right hand side of your screen, you can see currently 3rd position in the Category 4 race is Al Mansouri. So just coming up for 39.5 kilometers of this course. So shortly she will be in the final 10 kilometers to go. But there are 2 riders ahead of her. Amy Loxley in 2 and Ella Vink putting in a storming ride on stage 5 today to be out in the lead. Dropping back in with Category 2. Category 2 coming up for 32 kilometers. They are not far now, less than 600 meters off of sprint number 5, the final sprint of the day for Category 2. So our Category 2 women coming into sprint number 5 on stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships. It's a 50-kilometer course today, 1,100 meters of climbing, 1 Category 4 climb, 1 Hawk category climb with the checkered flag at the top. But there are also 5 sprints along the way. The Category 2 women can see the start banner of sprint number 5, and they are lining themselves up for this effort. So Engstrom is pushing, so is Bardaskaya. We can see 8 watts per kilo coming out of Lopez as we're watching Lopez lead this sprint out from the front. So Lopez leads it out from the front. Miller and Shepherd are pushing behind. Zimmerman is going as well. Constantine is there too. Lopez kicks again. Lopez is kicking at 8.6 watts per kilo. Can she take this sprint from the front? This is going to be an interesting result to see whether Lopez is able to take that sprint or whether one of the other riders from within the pack picks up the points. Take a look at that. It was indeed one of the riders in the pack utilising the draft, picking up the points, and that was Jenny Daniel from the Beast Mode powered by Rose squad, taking those 5 points. Lopez, who led it out from the front, picking up 4, Hermassen picking up 3, Engstrom picking up 2, and Bardaskaya taking the final point of the day in that sprint competition. Now, in that Category 2 sprint competition, it is going to be really interesting to see where that leaves our riders, because As we came into today's competition, the green jersey was firmly on Lopez's shoulder with 84 points. In second place, Hermansen with 66. It's looking like on our screen that green jersey stays with Lopez. However, let's see after today's stage as we come into tomorrow where that category sits. So sprint number 5 now complete for our category 2 women. We have a large group still leading this race as they transition now between sprint number 5 and the bottom of the climb. So that climb coming at 36.9 kilometers. So in 2.9k, they will see their wheels start to go skyward. But before that, they still have this valley to climb out of. Category 3 now well and truly on this climb, and this is an interesting mix because Botero is here with Tandingen. Barragan is the rider just closing down onto the wheels. So the 3 leaders in the category 3 race continuing to move together up this mountain. So the Ebelhace climb facing these women today. It is the final part of this 50-kilometer course, 629 meters of the 1100 meters of climbing coming in the latter stages with that checkered flag at the top. In this category 3 race, we have Botero, Barragan and Tandingen all together as a group. Lopez is the rider chasing, but not on your screens, and they cannot see the rider behind. So in this category 3 race, these 3 riders, Botero, Tandingen, Barragan, these 3 riders are indeed clear at the moment, and we are just taking a little look through here. So Barragan is the leader in the Masters competition. She's currently 6th on GC. Botero is 8th on GC, 30 minutes back. The closest rider here to the lead on GC is Terry Tandingen. She's currently 5th on GC. But she is 14 minutes back. Carmona in the yellow jersey at the moment, just making her way, as you can see here, into the group. So this is the chase group. Jenny Tan just pushing on up the mountain, Carmona in 2, Walkenhurst in 3, and these are the riders in this competition who are at the top of that GC. So Carmona is in here 1st place on GC, Walkenhurst is in here 2nd on GC. She's 2 minutes 23 back, so she really needs to keep Carmona in her sights and climb strongly. The group of 3 who are out and ahead up this mountain are significantly down, and there is some time that Carmona can allow them to give away, but not too much. So how much time is Carmona going to allow those riders ahead to give away today, because they go into the time trial tomorrow? So that is going to be an interesting mix in that category 3 race. Just taking a look on your screens, we have Cordero and Bauer still clear in that category 1 race, now past the 30-kilometer mark. Our category 2 riders, still a large group there. We've got Lopez, Parra, Daniel, Engstrom, Miller, Zimmerman, all still in the mix in that lead group. They are just past the 35-kilometer mark. In that category 3 race, it is a spread with a group of 3 out front and then a chase back, and Jenny Tan has just pushed on now from that chasing group, so she is pushing on in that race. In that category 4 race, Vink is clear. Vink is clear from Loxley, pushing up that mountain. Al-Mansouri is the rider in 3rd, and Madeira is the rider in 4th. And the time gap's now really huge, as it's looking like Loxley is closing down Vink, but Al-Mansouri and Madeira over a minute back. So stage number 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships is absolutely challenging our racers today. It is creating very tight racing in some of our competitions, but we've got breakaways in 3 of the 4 categories. So the breakaway in category 1 is Bauer and Cordero. They are 3.5 minutes clear of the chase group. That chase group containing Fua, Donny, Brogan and Marin. And in fact, that is the chase group on the right-hand side of your screen. And you can see Geraldo Areas at the back just picking up Marin and pushing through, because they are also coming up for the 30-kilometre mark. But you can see that chasers are over 1 kilometre behind Bauer and Cordero, the 2 riders clear at the front. So as our 5 chasers in this category 1 group continue to push and continue to push on, there's a 52-second gap back to Biarhead, who is the rider next down the road. She is in front of Rosaria Estrada and Julie Sanchez, who are minutes behind. So this is a really split field here, as we see Gemma Brogan having just to pick up the pace a little bit there, just to push on and not get gapped from this group, because she needs to be really mindful to stay with these riders. Gemma Brogan, the rider in 2nd place on GC, she is currently leading the mountains competition. And can she maintain that as she goes into the latter stages of today's race? So who has the legs after the rest day? Who is feeling refreshed? Fua, Marin, Donny, Brogan and Geraldo Areas. They're the 5 riders in this chasing group in category 1. Brogan and Cordero are the 2 riders out front, and they have established an early lead in this race today. So our category 3 raced field is now really being made to work by this mountain. This mountain under their wheels is really changing things around, and it is bringing the race back together again, as Tan and Walkenhurst have put in a fantastic climbing effort here to bring back the chase group to the wheels of the 3 leaders. So Botero, Barragan and Tandingen had established a lead in this category 3 race. Tan went on the attack from the chase group. Carmona is in there, our current yellow jersey wearer. And Walkenhurst currently lying 2nd on GC now. So this again is changing as we go up this climb. So our category 3 riders, they still have just over 10 kilometres to go in this race. And this has now all come back together again. So Barragan, Walkenhurst, Agudelo, Botera, Carmona, Tan, all back together again. Tandingen now just watching, because she is being dropped. She's putting in a big effort to come back onto the wheel of Jenny Tan and go over the top. Lopez and Carolus are the 2 riders just in shot, but they're 2 riders who are gapped as Lopez tries to close down to Tan, who tries to stay on the wheel of Tandingen, who pushes on. So Walkenhurst, Agudelo, Botero are now the riders leading this. Barragan is in here as well. So is Carmona, our yellow jersey wearer. Molina is here too, and Tandingen working strongly to stay with that group. Now, on the left-hand side of your screen is our category 2 race. It's still a large group on the lower slopes of this mountain. So the lower slopes of this mountain have not split this category 2 race. Currently at 4.5% gradient for this category 2 pack. We've got Lopez, Bardeskaya, Koinsinen, Miller, Zimmerman, Parra, Engstrom, Geraldo, Daniel, all in this group together. So a large number of category 2 riders have come into the base of this climb, and they have started on the early slopes together, and there is no attack coming, no push coming from this group, all still together at the moment. So it's looking like 9 riders at the front of that category 2 race. The category 3 race split apart early on, but pulled back together again. The 3 riders that had gone clear, Tandingen, Barragan and Botero, now pulled back by Tan and Carmona. Those riders all coming back together again. Walkenhurst is also in there. So our GC contenders all together at the moment in category 3 as well. Well, the riders who aren't together at the moment are indeed our Category 1 riders, because Cordero and Bauer have put a huge gap of 3 minutes into this race field. This is a big ride. Whilst Bauer had 2 minutes 49 on teammate Brogan coming into this stage, Cordero was not there or thereabouts. She was third place, 3 minutes 59 back. So she has 3 minutes 59 to make up on Bauer, 1 minute to make up on Brogan. So currently Cordero is second on the road, but can Brogan do anything about that in the final stages of this climb today? Because Brogan is the rider leading the mountains competition in Category 1. So this is everything to play for today, particularly for Gemma Brogan. So Brogan in the chase group over 4 minutes back now, because Cordero and Bauer's lead has established that much of a difference. See, look, here is the chase group. And in fact, we're taking a look here. Fua, Donny, Marin, Brogan is in here. The other rider in here is Geraldo Arrayas. Geraldo Arrayas currently in fourth on GC, 6 minutes 28 back. So this is a strong group. We have second, we have fourth, we have sixth, and we have seventh on GC in this chase group. They are working together, but they are not closing down Jojo Bauer and Leslie Ann Cordero. Those two riders are absolutely pulling away at the front. So at 35 kilometers into this race, Bauer and Cordero are the two riders clear. They shortly will be coming up to the foothills of the climb starting at 36.9 kilometers. On the right hand side of your screen, this is the chase group in the Category 1 race. They're coming up for 34 kilometers. They are 1k over 1k behind the leading group of two of Bauer and Cordero. Bauer and Cordero will well and truly get onto that final climb before this chase group see it, but this chase group all working together now. The leading group in Category 3, containing all the jersey wearers. We're seeing, in fact, our sprint leader in Category 3 is a rider who's gone off the front here. So Jenny Tan putting in a bit of an attack here. The gradient now at 6.9, 6.7% as they sweep round this corner. So Tan in 1, being chased by Walkenhurst in 2. Carmona, the yellow jersey, in 3. Pushing on here, but this is still a large group. I reckon this is about 9 riders in this group, but I think it may well be now, and it's getting stretched across this group. So Tan, Carmona, Walkenhurst, Molina, Botero, Lopez is in here. Agudelu is in here as well. These riders pushing on up this climb, and there is very little to separate them at the moment. Most of the attacks are being watched and covered. So as we have a large group of Category 3 riders leading this race at the moment, in the Category 4 race we have 2 riders clear. We have Vink in 1 and Loxley in 2. Now Loxley is our yellow jersey wearer at the moment on screen. Vink is the rider just up ahead. It's going to be interesting to see whether Loxley can close down Vink on this mountain. So Loxley at the bottom of your screen, currently lying in second place in the Category 4 competition today. In the bottom left-hand side of your screen, it's Jenny Tan, the leader in the sprint competition, who has pushed on in Category 3. She's pushed on, and she's pushed on now on this climb, clear of the chasing group containing Melina Botero and Agudelu. So Tan putting in the first big attack in Category 3. It's going to be interesting to see who tries to close her down. It's Melina doing the work at the moment. Botero, Lopez, Agudelu and Walkenhurst are there as well. This is a big group here in Category 3, and they are fighting neck and neck for the win here today. So the riders here in Category 3 all coming back together again. They're at 42 kilometres with 8 kilometres up this mountain to the checkered flag. So Lopez, Melina, Walkenhurst, Carmona, Agudelo, Botero all coming back together again now. Just seeing one rider stretched off the back there, but now we move into our Category 1 race. We move into the big mountains. We move into the Hawk category climb, the final climb of the day. It is the Jebel Hace. We are watching Jojo Bauer. She rode away yesterday at the 11.8 kilometre mark on stage 4. She is ridden away today with Leslie Ann Cordero from the group, but she is now riding away from Cordero. Cordero kicking hard to try and go with Bauer, as Bauer puts a kick in on the early slopes of this Hawk category climb. In 11 kilometres time, they will start to see the finish banner with that checkered flag, but there is still the mountain to go. So Bauer and Cordero continue to fight up this climb. Some way behind them, around 3 minutes behind them, is Donny and Brogan, 2 riders in that chasing group with Fua. Now the question is Marin still with them? Is Geraldo Arreyes still with them? And will they be a chase group of 5 for very long on this mountain? So Bauer now has 5 seconds on Cordero as they climb this final mountain, this Hawk category climb. This is the big mountain stage today. There are 20 points on offer across the 2 climbs today. 15 points for first across this today in the Queen of the Mountains competition. So the mountains competition being decided by the fastest time up the mountain. So 15 points for first today on this Hawk category climb. It's going to have big implications for that Queen of the Mountains competition. And currently wearing that jersey in Category 1 is Gemma Brogan. She is in the chasing group of 5 riders behind Cordero and Bauer. In Category 2, the mountains competition, so close. Shepherd, Gonzalez Rua and Lopez all on 19 points, so all with the same total. So today's competition, today's mountain stage, absolutely key. And take a look at this. This is the leading group in that Category 2 race, and they are still together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders. 8 riders. Engstrom is there, Shepherd is there, Daniel, Lopez, Para. These riders still all together coming up this climb. They are coming up for 9 kilometres to go to the finish line. So there is still a lot of climbing to be done. Constantine is in there, and these riders still working together. They are looking at each other. They are coming up this climb. No one wants to attack yet because this is absolutely everything to play for. So 4 minutes separating first from fourth on GC. 3 riders all with the same point score coming into today in the Queen of the Mountains competition in category 2. Absolutely hotting up in the category 4 race as well. This is the battle between teammates. So Vink and Loxley both on the same squad. They're both on Team Pans. They are currently lying first and second on GC. Vink is 40 seconds back from Loxley. Vink currently leading the sprint competition. Loxley currently leading the mountains competition. It is absolutely everything to play for here today. So Amy Loxley in 1, Ella Vink in 2 in that category 4 competition. They are clear of the rest of the field and they are coming up for that 5 kilometre to go mark. Back at coming up for 40 kilometres under her wheels is Jojo Bauer. She is leading this category 1 group. She is now clear of Cordero, the rider of the breakaway. The two of them had broken away from the chasing pack that you can see on the right hand corner of your screen. So Cordero in 2, Bauer in 1, Brogan part and parcel of this group, already now onto this climb. Brogan, Marin, Fua, Geraldo Arreas and Donny in this group. So 5 riders in the chase group in category 1. Now on the mountain as well. They have got the climb to go. So with most of that climb to go for our category 1 riders, our category 3 riders are further up the climb. 6.4 kilometres still to go, however, and this is still a good sized group. So 6 riders here, 7 riders here, as we see the jersey just slip back into the group there. So let's take a look at who is in this group. So Corollas, Barragan, Botero, Agudela, Lopez Molina, Carmona and Walkenhurst all in this group. So this is indeed a competition rounding out here in this category 3 race as well. 2 women tied in the mountains competition, Carmona and Walkenhurst, on the same points coming in today. So in this category 3 race, it was indeed Carmona and Walkenhurst coming in today tied on points. The Tel Marib climb went to Molina, Carmona picking up 4 points for second, Walkenhurst picking up 3 points for third. So Carmona currently now leading that competition by 1 point. But there are 15 points for the fastest time up this Hawk category climb today. So everything still to play for. So category 2 on the left hand side of your screen at 42 kilometers now is still will this group ever split, or should I say at what point will this group split, because they cannot ride up the whole of this mountain together. But this is such a close competition in this category 2 race, particularly in the Queen of the Mountains competition. So they are watching each other and playing their own tactics out. They have a plan. I am sure they all have a plan. It's about who is going to execute it and who will execute it well. So Shepherd, Hermassen, Daniel, Power, Engstrom, Zimmerman, Koisentin, all in this group. Miller is here as well. This is still a large group of category 2 riders. They push on up. You can see this sweeping left-hand bend in front of them. No one putting their wheel out front. No one showing real attention. No one showing intention to push on and break away. They continue to climb. They still have a significant way to go. They've still got 7.7 kilometers to ride here, so still a significant climb to come and plenty of time for this to play out in the category 2 race. Now playing out in the Category 1 race is Jojo Bauer, and she's playing how far clear can I go from just Cordero in 2, but from the chase group, and how many minutes can I put on? Is this the race winning move? Not just the stage winning move, but the race winning move from Jojo Bauer today. We knew she was strong in the mountains. She has shown us time and time again on the Sunday Race Club that she can climb, particularly when those climbs are long. She gets caught out when they're short and sharp, and often coming into a sprint finish, but not normally when we see an 6, 8, 10 or 11 kilometer climb to finish. She is absolutely master of the long climb. So Bauer showing us how it's done in Category 1. I'm not going to speak too soon because she's not even at 42 kilometres. She's still got 8.6 kilometres to go. She's still got a lot of climbing to do, but Bauer continues to move on at the front of the race. So this is the lead on the road, and the lead on the road is our Category 4 riders. They started first today. They have been racing for 2 hours now, and Loxley has broken Vink. So Loxley caught Vink. Ella Vink had been away. Loxley has now ridden past Vink. She's passed Vink. Vink in 2. You can just see Vink in the rear view mirror there. You can see her in the background behind Loxley. Madeira in 3, Almansori in 4, Pelagio in 5, Smithson in 6, and Poulton in 7. That's the Category 4 race at the moment. In the Category 1 race on the left-hand side, you are watching Jojo Bauer, your lone leader. She's looking like she's 40-plus seconds clear now of second place, Cordero. But take a look at that. It's around 5 kilometres now separating the leader in the Category 1 race with our leader on the road in the Category 4 race. So Jojo Bauer, a consummate climber, showing us how it is done today. She has nobody in the rear view mirror. She's got a minute now on Cordero in 2. She's got nearly 5 minutes on the chase group, and Chiara Donny is leading that chase group with Marin, with Geraldo Areas. It's going to be interesting to see whether Fua and Brogan are there as well, because that was the chase group of 5. But Bauer in that red and white striped cap doing an amazing job out front in that Category 1 race. So on the right hand side of your screen, we can see indeed those 5 riders in that chase group still all together. They are all together at 40.35 kilometres into this race. So Geraldo Areas, Marin, Brogan, Donny and Fua all together on the lower slopes of this climb. They have 9.6k to go, so still some significant riding to do. Marin just getting into difficulties at the moment. She's just off the back of the group. She needs to push back on if she wants to be in this, but I think that may be it for Marin unless she can close that gap. That gap's now at 7 seconds. Brogan is on the back of the group just watching what they're doing. It's Donny leading it out from Fua, from Geraldo Areas and Brogan. Marin now 4 seconds back. So whilst we leave the Category 1 race fighting on the lower slopes of the mountain, 5 kilometres further up, the Category 3 lead group are about to come through some of the back markers in the Category 4 race. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders still. So 8 riders still in the lead group of this Category 3 race. They have got less than 5 kilometres to go. Someone has got to attack shortly, but not yet. No one brave enough to be the first to go, but they have just come past Poulton in that Category 4 race as they continue their way up this mountain. The gradient currently at 7%. They are some way off the leading rider in this category 4 race. So whilst they've now caught Poulton, who was lying in 7th, Smithson is the next rider up the road. Amy Loxley, the leader in that category 4 race, now coming up for just under 2.5 kilometres to go. So Loxley, the leader on the road at the moment. The leader in this category 4 race, Vink in 2, 20 seconds behind. She is just around that corner behind Loxley. Our category 2 riders at 44 kilometres, still a large group of 8 riders in that lead group. And our category 1 leader, our lone leader in that category 1 race, Jojo Bauer at 43.1k. So with all our groups now on the mountain, category 4 have been racing for 2 hours and 4 minutes. Category 3, 1 hour 49. Category 2, 1 hour 34. And our category 1 race coming up for 1 hour and 20 minutes. So Jojo Bauer, our lead rider in that category 1 race in that red and white striped cap. Category 2, we have a leading group there of 8 riders in that category 2 race, now working their way through the back markers in that category 3 race on the mountain. You can take a look here. Hermassen is here, Miller, Daniel, all pushing on now because they want to push on and get past that group. Sometimes the confusion in catching riders on a mountain will allow someone to go clear, but Parrott is one of the riders pushing on. So is Shepherd. Engstrom has pushed on as well. Daniel and Bardeskaya now picking up as well. They don't want to be left behind. So Lopez is in here as well, all pushing on, not wanting to miss the group as they work their way through these back markers. So it is Engstrom, Shepherd and Miller who are the riders clear at the moment, being joined by Para, Koisonen. These riders now coming back up to reform this group. We've got a couple of riders a little bit back further down the road. They need to push on a little bit if they don't want to miss the group now, because Engstrom, Shepherd, Lopez and Koisonen here. Bardeskaya 2 seconds back, Daniel 4 seconds back, Zimmerman 7 seconds back. So this is now starting to stretch. And this stretch has been caused by overtaking the back markers in the category 3 race. You really need to be on in focus when that takes place on these climbs, because you don't want to miss. Don't want to miss the attack. And Engstrom now pushing on at 5 watts per kilo. Shepherd is there as well. So is Lopez. Lopez is there, and Koisonen and Miller. So 5 riders now in this category 2 race with a small 2 or 3 second gap back. 1 rider now coming across, making this a group of 6. So 6 riders currently leading in our category 2 race. They've got 5 kilometres to go now in this 50 kilometre race. This is stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships, and this is the category 2 race playing out in front of us. So Engstrom, Shepherd, Koisonen, Lopez and Miller, the 5 riders clear at the moment in category 2. So as they are joined with 6 riders now in this category 2 race clear, we have 2 jersey wearers in the mix. They will shortly start to further climb the mountain, but this is Al-Mansouri. Al-Mansouri now just been caught by Madeira, so Al-Mansouri has held that 3rd place up most of this mountain climb. Madeira had been in 4th, but Madeira now catching Al-Mansouri in the latter stages of this climb. Can Al-Mansouri push up onto the back wheel of Madeira and contend for 3rd place? They are 4 minutes down on Vink and Loxley, so this is the race for 3rd today in this category 4 race. So Vink currently in that polka dot jersey in this category 4 race, currently lying in 2nd on the mountain. Amy Loxley is the rider ahead of her, 40 seconds now in front. So Loxley in 1, Vink in 2, Madeira in 3, Al-Mansouri in 4. Loxley now with under 1.5 kilometers to go now, and before she sees the checkered flag, she will see the polka dot banner indicating the end of this mountain segment. At the end of this mountain segment is a haute category climb with 15 points on offer for the fastest time. It's a 500-meter run into the checkered flag today. So Loxley in 1, Vink in 2. There's 30 seconds separating these two riders in the Category 4 race. Madeira in 3, Al-Mansouri in 4. Can those riders battle it out for third place, or will Madeira start to pull away from Al-Mansouri, who has held that third place for most of this mountain climb? So 3 kilometers back down the mountain is Jojo Bauer. Bauer leading the Category 1 race today. She has gone clear from Cordero as they came onto the lower slopes of the climb today. Cordero in 2, being chased by a group of 5 riders last time we saw in this Category 1 race. So Jojo Bauer now 1 minute 40, I'm going to say that again, 1 minute 40 clear of Cordero. This is a fantastic pace that Bauer is setting up this climb today. It's a haute category climb. It is the end of stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships. 1,100 meters of climbing overall today in this 50-kilometer race. It's not just about the climbs today, because there have also been 5 sprints with 25 sprint points on offer today. So Bauer continues to push. She does not come off the pace. She is setting a great pace up this climb. In our Category 2 race, it is a very different lead. We have 6 women in the lead group, no lone leader at all. So 6 women still fighting it out on this climb in Category 2. They have 3.7 kilometers of the climb still to go. Engstrom, Shepherd, Millen, Konstantin and Bardskaya are the riders in this group. Lopez is in here as well. They continue to stretch and continue to push on. They are about to come up onto the wheel of Jenny Tan in that Category 3 race, and Polton, the next rider they will see up and around the bend, but it is Shepherd, Engstrom and Miller leading that group out. So our Category 3 race on the right hand side, our Category 2 race on the left hand side, and we have groups in both of these at the moment on the climb. So riders coming back together, all together here in this Category 3 race as well. So Walkenhurst here, Lopez, Carmona, Molina, Agudelo, Botero, all together here. Seven riders from Category 3 all together at the moment. So 7 riders in this lead group of Category 3. They have 2.5 kilometers still to go on this climb, and just starting to get distance now. Barragan is here at the back of this group. Carolus is already off the back. She's 30 seconds back down the mountain. Barragan is looking like she is just slipping off this group now. She's got 5, 6, 7 seconds to make up to close that gap. Botero is the rider in front of her. Can Barragan close this gap? She's pushing on at the moment to try and get back onto the back of that group. Barragan closing that gap down. She is going to get back onto that group as Amy Loxley sees the polka dot banner. That is indicating the end of this mountain segment for Amy Loxley. Unfortunately, the gradient does not go away in the last 500 meters, but Loxley now with 500 meters to go in this stage number 5. So Loxley now moves into the final stages of this race. She's got around 400 meters till she sees the finish banner. She's got a gap now of 30 seconds to Vink. This is Vink. She is second on the road. She's in that polka dot jersey, and she is now coming under that banner, indicating the end of that Hebel Hayes climb. So Vink in 2 in this category 4 race. She is down around 200 meters behind Loxley. It's going to be interesting to see which of these two sets the fastest time on that timed segment in the Queen of the Mountains. However, at the moment, it's about who comes over the line first. So Loxley pushes on here. She's got just over 200 meters to go. She's going to round this bend, this right-hand bend, and then she should get view of the finish line today. So a little bit further back down the road is Ella Vink. She's 30 seconds down on Loxley. She needs to push on now if she wants to keep the time as close as possible. She was 40 seconds back on Loxley on GC going into today's stage. This is going to put her a little bit further back again as Loxley moves into the last 100 meters. The finish line is in front. So Amy Loxley has ridden clear of Ella Vink in the final stages of this Hawk category climb today. She's taking the run into the finish. She's under the finish banner. She is your winner today in the category 4 race. It's stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships. So Amy Loxley comes through for the win today. Ella Vink pushes on. Vink in 2 in this category 4 race. She continues to push to that finish line. She's kicking at 4.6 watts per kilo. Vink wants the shortest time gap to Loxley that she can hold on to. Vink comes through in 2. So Loxley, then Vink is your 1-2 in that category 4 race. So 2 hours, 14 minutes, 56 seconds, the time for Loxley over the line. Madeira, who caught Al-Mansouri on this climb, has continued to establish her lead into 3rd place. She's not yet gone under the polka dot banner, indicating the end of the climb segment on this mountain. She's got 800 meters till she sees that finish banner. Or category 3 race. There is still a large group of riders in this category 3 race. 6 riders on your screen at the moment. Molina, Lopez, Walkenhurst, Agudelo, Carmona, all still in here. These riders pushing on and pushing on strongly. It is going to be a frantic last kilometre. They have got 1.3 kilometres to go in this race, and currently all of these riders are together. They've dropped Sarah Corollas. She's a minute back now. Barragan has been unable to stay with them. So Barragan, who was closing onto the wheel last time we saw this group, now 20 seconds back. Botero in the group with Lopez, Carmona, Molina, Agudelo, and this group all together, still tapping their way up this mountain. So 6 riders leading this category 3 race. So as our 6 riders continue up the mountain in this category 3 race, leading it out, on the right hand side of your screen we are watching Myra Madeira going through that polka dot banner, indicating the end of the Hebelhace climb. We are seeing Madeira. She is 3rd in this category 4 race. She has got less than 500 meters now to go. So as Madeira comes into the final stages of this stage today, it is stage 5 on the MyWhoosh Championships, 50 kilometres with 1,100 metres of climbing over 2 main climbs, 1 category 4 climb through the Tel Marib Mountains, 1 Hawk category climb on the Hebelhace, 5 sprints along the way. So absolutely everything to work for in all of our categories and all of our competitions on the road. So as Madeira comes up to the finish line, we on the left hand side of your screen into the last kilometre of racing. 6 women in this lead group in this category 3 race. Now, who is going to attack? Who is going to be the first rider to go? who is going to take a look at what tactics they can use in this last 700 meters, because I cannot believe we are going to see a 6-up sprint for the win. No, we've got Lopez has gone off the front, so Lopez is the first rider to push on. She's going long. She has got 600 meters to go, and Elena Lopez has attacked. Julia Walkenhurst is kicking in too. So Walkenhurst is coming fast. She's bringing Melina and Carmona with her. They are moving into the last 500 meters, and Madeira is going to see a sprint coming behind. The charge from the Category 3 race is coming thick and fast behind. Madeira is in 3rd place in the Category 4 race. She's got 80 meters left. Is she going to cross the line before this fast and furious Category 3 race come up on her heels? So Madeira on the right-hand side of your screen comes across the line for 3rd place in our Category 4 race. Almasori, the rider behind, but behind that at the moment we have got a frantic race on here in this Category 3 group. 6 riders, yes, 6 riders went into the last 700 meters together on the climb. Melina has attacked, Lopez has gone as well, so has Walkenhurst. As Walkenhurst closes down, Lopez onto Melina's back wheel. Walkenhurst still pushing on the right-hand side of your screen. Almasori is going to be the 4th rider over the line in our Category 4 race. So Melina, the front of this Category 3 race, see the finish banner. They are coming now with the last 50 meters to go, but Lopez is in too. This is going to be a sprint between Melina and Lopez. This is a sprint to the line as Melina kicks. Lopez is there. Melina is going to take the win in Category 3. Walkenhurst is going to be the next rider over the line. So Melina takes the win. Walkenhurst coming through for 3rd place in that Category 3 race. Now, what fantastic racing from our Category 3 women today. 6 riders in a group coming up with 700 meters to go. Fast and furious final 700 meters on this climb. Walkenhurst being rewarded with 3rd place there. So our Category 2 riders also pushing on up the climb, and Samara Shepherd is the rider who has ridden away from Engström. So Shepherd has ridden away from Engström, and Shepherd currently in that yellow jersey, so currently leading the GC competition. Engström pushing on, putting in a fantastic performance today in 2, but Shepherd is going to be the first rider over the line in this Category 2 competition. She's got 40 meters to go, 30 meters to go. She is going to take the win. So Shepherd is your winner in the Category 2 competition on stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships. She has conquered the climb. She has broken away from this rider. This rider, Engström, is the rider in 2. Lopez is in 3, 8 seconds back. There's 250 meters to go for these women for 2nd and 3rd in this Category 2 race today. So Engström in 2, Lopez in 3. Miller in 4. There's 3 seconds separating these riders at the moment, 2 seconds separating these riders. This is getting close. So Lopez and Miller now with each other. Corollas is there as well, but Engström is 10 seconds clear for 2nd place in this race today. There may be a sprint for 3rd, but Engström is going to come over the line in 2nd place in this Category 2 race today. So fantastic climbing from Engström as Miller and Lopez fight it out. Lopez is kicking hard. Can Miller respond? Lopez has gone over the top. No, Miller comes back. Miller, I think, takes that from Lopez, but that is absolutely close for 3rd place on the top of this mountain today. So Konstantin, the rider, here in 5th position. Bardskaya behind, 30 seconds back. Daniels a minute over behind there too. So Konstantin is the next rider to come over the line. Konstantin will be 5th in this Category 2 race today. Wow, some amazing riding. So let's just take a look at the results. So this is the stage 5 results so far live on the MyWhoosh Championships Category 2 overall. Shepherd from Blue Forest Racing takes the win in 1 hour 51 minutes 19 seconds. 53 seconds back, Engstrom from the strong women's squad. Beast mode powered by Rose Kimberly Miller, 1 minute and 5 back. 1 minute and 5 back also for Lopez. That was a sprint finish there from the Cycling Stars. Lopez taking 4th place. And Blue Forest Racing's Mina Constantine rounding out the top 5 with 1 hour 52 minutes and 54 seconds. So that was our category 2 race. This is our category 1 race, and Jojo Bauer just under the polka dot banner indicating the end of the climb segment. So with 400 meters to go till the finish line, Jojo Bauer, the consummate climber, she has ridden away from Cordero on this climb. They both rode away from the rest of the field early in the race today. They broke away in a 2-woman breakaway for most of the stage. They went into the bottom of the climb together, and that's where Jojo Bauer rode away from Cordero. So Bauer into the last 250 meters. Shortly she will see that finish banner in front of her. Jojo Bauer riding away from the rest of the field towards the win in this category 1 race today. So Bauer looks up and sees the finish line. It's the finish line of stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships. This is the 50-kilometer mark with 1,100 meters of climbing under the wheels today. Bauer is seeing that finish line. It is a welcome sight. So Jojo Bauer is your winner on stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships. She has extended her lead. She went into the stage in 1st place on GC. She had a 2-minute 49 lead on teammate Gemma Brogan. Brogan is further down the mountain. Cordero will be the next rider in this category 1 race, but Jojo Bauer is the rider who came over that line in 1st place. So Cordero continues to move. She's got 800 meters till she sees the finish banner. A little bit further down the road, Donny is pushing on from Brogan as we take a look at the categories who have finished so far. So stage 5 results today for the category 3 women overall. We saw Anna Molina come over the line first in 2 hours and 5 minutes 8 seconds. It was close. 0.2 of a second close at the top of the hook category climb, with Elena Lopez in 2. 20 seconds back, Julia Walkenhurst takes 3, Botero in 4, Carmona in 5, Agudelo in 6th, all within a minute of the win. So close competition in that category 3 race. In the category 4 competition, we saw Amy Loxley ride away from Ella Vink. So Loxley taking the win in category 4, 2 hours 14 minutes. Vink coming through in 2nd, 2 hours 15. Madeira in 3rd, 2:19. Al-Mansouri really trying to hold that wheel, 2:19.58. And Pelagio coming in 2:20. Smithson just over the line, 2:26, taking 6th position in that category 4 race today. You can see the mywhoosh.com/results there, where you can find all the live results until the race is finished. Then the results will be unofficial until the full verification process has taken place. So back to the category 1 action. We have Cordero on the left-hand side of your screen. She has now 220 meters to go until she sees that finish banner a little bit further down the road, coming up into the final kilometer. We had a group of 5 riders chasing, and today it is Chiara Donny who is doing the business. Her legs are doing the talking. She's ridden away from that chase group of 5. So Cordero in 2, currently Donny in 3 on the road in this category 1 race. As Cordero sees the finish line, she was part and parcel of that early breakaway with Jojo Bauer before Bauer rode away from her on this final climb. So stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships, this is the category 1 race. Lesley Ann Cordero comes over the line in 2nd place. So Cordero taking 2nd today from Bauer. So with 700 metres to go, Chiara Donny is the rider in 3. Brogan in 4, 18 seconds back. Marin is still with her. So is Geraldo Arraias. So this climb, a close climb for these category 1 women. Take a look back there. We've got Brogan on the left-hand side of your screen. Marin is behind her. Geraldo Arraias is the rider behind that. That is an absolute fight for 4th, 5th and 6th today. I don't think they are going to catch Donny because we can't currently see them in that shot, but they are just coming round that mountain corner as Donny goes under the polka dot banner, signifying the end of that climb. So Donny with 450 metres to go. Marin just coming through under the polka dot banner. Brogan needs to kick if she wants to go with Marin, but Marin now pushing on. Brogan pushing too. Brogan needs to kick hard if she wants to close down Marin. Geraldo Arraias is just behind her. Donny's on the right-hand side of your screen, currently in 3rd position, but Marin and Brogan are coming fast. So there's 100 metres currently separating Donny from the chase behind. Marin and Brogan are the 2 riders chasing hard. Marin is looking like is Brogan, but can Brogan respond? Can Brogan respond to Marin and set a fast time in these latter stages of this race? So Chiara Donny rounding the corner shortly. She is going to see that finish banner. She's got 150 metres to go. Brogan is a little further down, but there is Marin in between them. Daniela Marin is coming fast. She's coming hard. She's got 10 seconds to go. Donny is continuing to work and ride strongly up this climb. She's pushing now. Donny pushing now to ensure 3rd place. Donny is going to come across the line in 3rd place today on stage 5. Marin coming fast behind. Daniela Marin has broken free from Gemma Brogan, so Marin taking 4th place from Brogan. It's looking like Brogan is going to take 5th place today. Catherine Fouet is the rider behind her. So Chiara Donny in 3, Marin coming up for 4, Brogan in 5. Fouet back, the next rider through in 6. These riders coming through thick and fast in category 1 at the top of this climb. So this climb has really split. Finally, these category 1 riders, we saw Cordero and Brogan and Bauer, break away early, and Bauer ride away from Cordero at the bottom of this climb, but it has taken the entire climb to work out the top 6. So here it is in front. So stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships. This is the current live category 1 overall results. Jojo Bauer taking the win in 1 hour 40 minutes and 15 seconds. Cordero coming through from the Asian Watts squad in 1 hour 43:21, 3:05 behind. Donny takes 3rd, 5 minutes and 8 seconds back. Marin takes 4th, 5 minutes 20. Gemma Brogan in 5th, 5:30. Risky Biscuits, Catherine Fouet taking 6th, and her teammate Geraldo Arraias taking 7th. So it is going to be interesting overnight to see what that does to our standings overall, not just the GC, but also the sprints and the Queen of the Mountains competition. So Estrada is the next category 1 rider who is going to see the finish banner just ahead of Biarhead. These riders continuing to come over the line. So we see Estrada continuing to push. She can just look up. She can look up and she can see that finish banner now. She's got 100 meters to go, and that sight is a welcome sight because behind her is Biarhead, but Biarhead is not in the camera shot. So rounding out across the line now in this category 1 race on stage 5 of the MyWhoosh Championships is Rosaria Estrada. She's coming along the line, across the line, in front of Biarhead, the next rider who will come through. So Estrada taking 8th place, Biarhead coming in for 9th. And it has been an amazing race today. Jojo Bauer breaking free from Cordero after a 2-rider breakaway early on today. That final mountain of the Hebel Haze, it has indeed given us the racing today. And Bauer has shown us what a mountain climber she is. So, after such amazing riding in each of our categories today and some closer riding than we were expecting, it is stage 6 tomorrow, and stage 6 is our 30-kilometer time trial. So, it is individual against individual. Tomorrow, it is a pretty flat time trial. It's going to be interesting to see the GC overnight and what happens tomorrow. My name is Emma Martin, and it has been fantastic bringing you all of the action in the women's race today. I am shortly going to go over and join Matt Payne in the commentary box for the rest of the men's race. So if you have been with us for the women's race and you want to see what happens there, head over on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel to follow that feed and follow that race. You can, of course, follow MyWhoosh on all the social media platforms, and you can find me at Biking Emma on Instagram. It would be great to hear from you and see how you are feeling after 5 stages. Still 2 more stages to go and everything to play for on the MyWhoosh Championships. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Goodbye.